Imagine me. Imagine me, Hebrew. All praises to your majesty. You should be glad for me. Imagine me, Hebrew. I know these heathen gonna be mad with me when they imagine me. Imagine me, Hebrew. Yeah, just close your eyes so your mind could see. And then imagine me. Imagine me, Hebrew. Imagine me killing a racist in this race of life. I put the Ku Klux under sheets for life. Ice, cold, hot. Crackers too bold, poker they fold. They ain't got no heart for nigga, we got soul. Soul to the highest bidder. Best believe that I'm bitter. Imagine hanging Klansmen from a tree. Nat turned to dap at me like that's my nigga. Finger on the trigger early, glizzy with a 30. Gotta do a skinhead dirty. No longer should we kill each other. That's my dog, that's my brother. Putting Zimmerman in his coffin like horse. Drawing Trayvon on the mortuary wall. We was raised like that. Runaway slaves with straps. Eye level, aim steady, bullets graze your cap. Bus boycott, push your shit to the back. No slave master lay flat. Imagine me. Imagine me, Hebrew. All praises to your majesty. You should be glad for me. Imagine me, Hebrew. I know these heathen gonna be mad with me when they imagine me. Imagine me, Hebrew. Yeah, just close your eyes so your mind could see. And imagine me. Imagine me, Hebrew. They say I'm too raw. I say I'm too cool. You gotta keep it raw. That's how these crackers like they fool. Let's examine this relationship between blacks and Jews. The fakes get praised, the real misused. Came from the ghetto, you know government set traps, and taking a dirt nap is the only way to relax. Can't rest in peace, gotta pick up all these pieces, return them to Black Jesus, and then crack these crackers pieces. Imagine me letting these dogs come and muzzle my mouth. Some chances is thin like Harold Practice Scout. I done seen Rodney King get his scalp bashed out by some crackers with badness out. Wonder why I'm lashing out? We pouring ashes out, dust to dust, dawn to dawn. What the fuck is going on? Somebody need to sing them a funeral song. And then imagine these heathen is going wrong, yeah. Imagine me. Imagine me, Hebrew. All praises to your majesty. You should be glad for me. Imagine me, Hebrew. I know these heathen gonna be mad with me when they imagine me. Imagine me, Hebrew. Yeah, just close your eyes so your mind could see. And then imagine me. Imagine me, Hebrew. Imagine me. Imagine me, Hebrew. All praises to your majesty. You should be glad for me. Imagine me, Hebrew. I know these heathen gonna be mad with me when they imagine me. Imagine me, Hebrew. Yeah, just close your eyes so your mind could see. And then imagine me. Imagine me, Hebrew.
You know why we gotta say what? He's great in turbo destruction. Y'all think he comes back in all peace? You got another thing coming. So we out here fighting for our brother. We ain't marching saying yes we can. No justice, no peace. No! For your son and your daughter. I'm not too tight. It's 400 years on my back. I'm angry dog. I'm black like that. Won't contact with you whites. And all the niggas I stand here with, they share my same sentiment. I'm fucked up tonight. Won't kill my brothers no more. Want all the smoke, motherfucker popo. It's my battle cry. Oh! Isaiah 14:21, that ancient version of that gun that sword. They stole our name, they stole our shit. We real Judites, motherfucker Jewish. We Lord. Generals, arm your soldiers. We fight tonight like we supposed to. They inherited lies. I'm referring to all whites. I'm referring to riches, white privilege, given through genocide. And they gotta pay for that. God say, Jacob, don't take it back. I cry aloud, I spare not. This good bread, my sharecrop. This lily grew through concrete. We march the ox on drum beat. We the chosen. No inclination to kick it with y'all. Raise Babylon to the ground, then watch it fall. Obadiah said you'll be wiped out for theft. These are just words, worry about what come next. For Negroes, Latinos, we better than all, not equal. My natives know red dot that feather. Me primo be smooth like that leather. Until it's time to bring the war dogs out with the headdress on. War paint and I'm not rap too tight. Got 400 years on my back. I'm angry dog. I'm black like that. Won't contact with you whites. And all the niggas I stand here with, they share my same sentiment. I'm fucked up tonight. Won't kill my brothers no more. Want all the smoke, motherfucker, popo. It's my battle cry. I got the spirit of grandfathers past. Front porch sitters, Nat Turner dangerous. A real life illustration of angry and that painting. Of Malcolm staring out the window with patience. One hand on the curtain, right hand on the AK spits. 47 rounds, all to bring down Satan. Same way Abel was killed by Cain. This will be an introduction from the fuck shit into the fire. Probably join the list of artists who died before they retired. Most High said I'm hired. Sire will never spit a line aimed at my kind, less meant to uplift. Toughness will be redefined in my rhymes. A squad of men with the spirit of God, with an affinity to point their weapons not at the brethren but at the enemy. Khaki colored kids, baptized in the flames of combat fashioned. In the trap we escaped, our fate was to be great and noble. Moses reincarnate, so be hopeful and know I bring word from Mayando to Pharaoh and white folk let my people go, cause that's my battle cry.
All right. Shalom, Israel. Most High bless. Give all praises to Yahweh Yahawashi. F.O.P.E. Israelite School. Appreciate y'all tuning in. And today we're here to discuss a topic in Israel for us, Hebrew scholarship. And we have some elders and scholars here to speak on some Hebrew scholarship information that they want to bring for us with the Professor Lee Cummings brought out in the earlier video, and they wanted to speak on some of the information that he was bringing forth. So we're going to give the elders and the scholar brother time to speak on some of the information they was bringing. Okay, Elder QANATH.
Most High bless, Most High bless. Late broadcast as usual, but Most High everyone will enjoy it. F.O.P.E. stands for Our People Edification. Is to get some knowledge from our brothers and from our sisters when they come on. Like some people always say, spit out the bones, take the meat, however you want to do it, but at the end of the day, we're here to sharpen iron. We're not here to embarrass anyone, right? Because we don't have that on our platform, but we do like that smoke because we want it interesting. So Professor Lee Cummings was on a few nights ago, and he brought out a lot of things dealing with the Hebrew. My brothers, I'm gonna have them introduce themselves and give us a background on themselves. But he introduced, he was talking about the Hebrew, and my brothers disagreed with some of the things he had to say. So Most High they're gonna give a small presentation, and maybe we can have some questions and answers, and then we'll go forward from there. But before we get to that, I will have the brothers introduce themselves. I'll start out with Elder Shaly, and then the other brother, you introduce yourself. When you introduce yourself, can you give us a background about yourself, and then pass the mic to your colleague? You got your mic on too, Elder. I mean, unmute your mic.
Unmute yourselves, yeah.
Unmute yourselves, please.
All right,
yeah, I unmuted myself. I just didn't want to speak over Shaly.
All right, so I'm Zokin Adeshaya. Also wisdom. My background is born and raised into the knowledge of self, out of Sumter, South Carolina, going back from my grandparents. I am the student of Mitzil, that's on tonight with us. definitely he's my instructor. He's my Hebrew teacher for the last 7 years. And that's, what I do. I oversee a congregation here in Durham, North Carolina, which is called the House of Wisdom. So, that's a little bit about myself. Definitely study Semitic languages through my teacher, Mr. L. Akkadian, Samaritan, Aramaic, Biblical Hebrew, Ugaritic, the different Semitic languages that's out there that we study. Anything that's coordinated with the Hebrew Bible. Shalom.
Shalom. Hallelujah. Okay, brother.
Okay, so shalom lekolkum. Ani shemi Merja'il ibn Murape. I am a student of comparative Semitic literature, language, and linguistics. For a little more than a decade, I've been tutoring online as a way to counter the negative and systemic effects of principal language illiteracy, meaning that there is a correlation between the propagation of doctrines formulated from literature and translation and abuse and atrocities perpetrated against people. So if you look at the highest frequencies of abuses, you will find that the perpetrators are not literate in the literature of their respective religious or theological backgrounds. So case in point, you don't find very many people strapping bombs to their chest that can read Al-Quran. It just doesn't happen, right? And you don't find very many people trying to keep women in a basement when they can read the Hebrew Bible in Hebrew. So, in short, what I've done for a little more than a decade is just dedicate resources and assets towards equipping a demographic that is disproportionately disadvantaged as it relates to the resources necessary to take on literacy. So there we have it.
Okay.
Okay. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Thank you, brothers, for coming on, and hopefully we can get some understanding. You teach the students, everybody that's on, who's going to be a student tonight. I will ask one thing: everybody be respectful in the comment board, and
right. And mention the
and listen up.
And mention the show about Sunday.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, yeah. So Sunday we're gonna have a show. With the two brothers on with Professor Lee Cummings. They're gonna talk about what he's about to talk about now. And I can assure you that Professor Lee Cummings probably is going to disagree with maybe not all, but majority of what they're about to say, and he have his opportunity to do that Sunday. We may have to do that. Well, from undisclosed location. How about that? But let me start out before you go into your presentation. Let's start out briefly. What is it that you disagree about, Professor Lee Cummings, and then we can go into your presentation.
So right off the bat, my issue would be with his statement, his definitive statement that Hebrew, using the quote fingers, and Aramaic are the same language, right? He also stated definitively that the Aramaic block script or Assyrian square script cannot, it is of no use to the scholar or anyone that endeavors to study ancient Hebrew, right? So like what I have here is, Phoenician script. And so they're saying that if you're not using this ancient script, if you're using Assyrian square script, Aramaic block script, it doesn't help you to understand ancient Hebrew text. So, and then what was the other one?
All right.
Yeah, we can just stop right there with that, and I'll remember the other one.
Okay. All right. So let me say this real quick, and I'm gonna let you begin. There's no way in hell anybody's gonna learn Hebrew all the way tonight. I mean, from my understanding. But so if you're that smart, then man, you don't need to be on. You know, it's for people that's in the know and people that want to learn some things. You understand? So just put in your thinking cap, take notes, in your ears. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to you, brother.
Okay.
You got the show. You got the stage. If you need to brother, pull up a slide, anything that I know, send to them in the back room. We'll pull up a slide for you. If you need to take time to stop to get something, just let us know. Shasha, you put it on big screen. You can put both. Go ahead.
So what I'm doing right
You
now,
can't put both of them on big screen. You only can put one at a time. Either Elder Sha'el or
Okay.
the scholar Mr. L. Mr. L. So it depends
All
on
right.
whoever going first.
Elder Shaw, did you want to speak first, or did you want me to speak first?
Yeah, go ahead, teacher. I'm charging on my phone.
All right, very good. So what I'm doing right now, everyone, I'm writing out the Aleph-Ba, right? So what we're going to do, we said that people aren't going to be able to learn Hebrew in this short amount of time. We're going to actually endeavor to equip everybody with the means to understand the argument, right? So if you just give me 1 second, I'm going to just write this out. Good. And then we're going to say.
As soon as you're ready, I'll put you on the big screen so everybody can see.
Got it.
Okay.
See.
And once we while he's doing this, you can put your questions in the comment board once he's
no,
finished.
tell them email you, QANATH, so y'all can see it. Cause we ain't gonna see y'all on board.
Yeah, right. Email. You're right. Email the questions to Sean Sham on myself. All right, Shane, put on B screen. Let's rock.
All right. So what I have here, I just kind of wrote out the what we call a graphemic index. So let's just kind of give everybody a chance to hear some words, right? Our jargon, right? Right off the bat, we're going to talk about morphology. Morphology is our fancy way of saying the way something looks or presents itself. Okay. Phonology is the sound, what we hear. Syntax is the arrangement of the constituents, the parts of speech, right? So where are the verbs, where are the nouns, where are the prepositions, right? Orthography is the representation of a language's sounds through letters or symbols. Okay. Again, morphology is what you see. Phonology is what you hear. Syntax are how the constituents are arranged. And orthography is the representation of a language's sounds through written form, whether letters or symbols. All right. Those are important. These are things that we should write down because we're going to use morphology and phonology probably like 40 times before this is over. Again, morphology, what you see. Phonology, what you hear. Syntax, the arrangement. Orthography, the representation of the sounds using letters or symbols. All right. So the idea that orthography, right, the system or the representation of a language's phonemic inventory, the idea that orthography is going to be the sole determinant in defining the language or identifying the language, that is going to prove to be an error that could set you back quite a bit of time. Right. So you want to get past that. You don't want to say that every time you see ancient Canaanite script or Phoenician script, oh, it has to be Hebrew. That is not the case. The morphology, how the language behaves, the characteristics that you see, right? For instance, let's make it simple. Let's say we go out in the woods and you see a snake. It's a little dark in color, it's ambiguous in terms of design pattern, but you see that it wiggles its tail and it's trying to mimic the behavior of a rattlesnake. But if you are a herpetologist, then you know, that's not a rattlesnake because it doesn't necessarily have the rattles, even though it's wiggling the tail. Oh, well, now it's trying to broaden the neck. and it's trying to mimic that of a cobra. Well, we know we don't have cobras in this particular part of the world, so it's probably not that. 9 times out of 10 is a hognose snake. It's trying to mimic the behavior, the physical presentation of a venomous species of snakes, even though it is non-venomous. So being able to understand the behavior helps you to identify what's in front of you. So what we do, we utilize morphology, what it looks like, phonology, how it sounds, syntax, how things are arranged to surmise the language's identification. All right. So what I did, I wrote out 3 different languages utilizing this same script. Right. So those that are comparative Semiticists or have done more, worked with more than one Semitic language, they could probably figure out, what certain things aren't, even if they don't know what they are. All right. So we're going to go backwards now. So we kind of have our polysyllabic or our big words worked out, right? Morphology, the look, phonology, the sound, syntax, the arrangement, all right? Orthography, the representation, all right? So let's just kind of walk through this for the benefit of those that may be completely brand new. I'll just walk through the graphemic index. And so a grapheme is the physical representation of the sound unit. Okay, is the physical representation of the sound unit. So the grapheme is what you see. The phoneme is what you hear. The grapheme is what you see. The phoneme is what you hear. So the orthography is Phoenician orthography. All right, these are graphemes. All right, and they're going to represent a set of phonemes. All right. So what I'll do is just kind of walk through it. It's going to be a little quick, but I'll do it in such a way that you'll understand a methodology on how to approach memorizing it. All right. This is our Aleph. It is the glottal stop. So if you're not really familiar with identifying the glottal stop, it would be like, hey, chest me, man. A little more. We're going to go check out these gals over there, man. Yo, straight models and bottles, full throttle. Know what I mean? So all of those are uses of the glottal stop, like bottle, throttle, mottle. All right, that's the ilf, the aleph. All right, so if we just take out that extra vowel, ilf, ulf, ulf, ilf, that's how you identify it. So what we're going to do is add a little rhythm to it. So, b, 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 g, 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 d, 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 ha, 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 woo, 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 za, 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 ha, 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 da, 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 ye, ka, 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 lu, ma, ma, nu, thaw. Now let's just pause here for a second. This is important. This is not to be confused with s. This is an emphatic thaw. Thaw. This is sin, san, soon. Theme, thum, tham, tham, thimku, thimka, thamic. All right, so manu thaw. Notice the difference between the voice pharyngeal fricative ein and if. And if it skids, it's the ein. If it stops, it's the ilf. Versus thaw. Also, please notice the difference between ha, and ha, he, hu, 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 ha, he, hu. All right. Here, ein, pa, va, righteous. So Melchizedek, the, ka, 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 ka. All right. Oh, and also notice this is not taza. And the reason this can never be taza is the rules of syllabification and also the definition of a consonant. So if we could just oversimplify the definition of a consonant by definition must be a single unique point of articulation, unique. Okay, so single unique initial place of articulation. So if we were to say taza, you'll notice that those are two distinct places of articulation, and it's also two syllables, taza. So taza is really saying ta and za, ta, za. So this cannot be taza. This is va. What happens, someone saw maybe tz as a transliteration, the Latin letters T and Z to represent the phonemic value the, as in Vadik, Melchizedek, okay, Vadikayahu, the, Mithraim, the. All right, notice the, not za, the, and this is ka, not ka. This is ka. This is ra. All right, and obviously I wrote the same grapheme, but I wanted to write it side by side so you know there are two distinct phonemes to consider. There is seen and there is sheen. We know that there were two because we have the verb yashar to be straight, right? And we also have nissa to lift up. So ka, ra, si, shi, tu, ta. Notice the difference between ta and tha, as in bokar tob. Tob lehadot leyawi. Tob, tob, yatab, tob, versus to'amer, tamar, tob, tamar, ta'amar, Shabbat, tob. All right. So b, g, da, ha, woo, za, ha, tata, yo, kaka, lalu, mama, no, thaw, pe, va, ka, ra, si, shi, tu. All right, so now that we've talked about the phonemic imagery, let's talk about the impact of vowels and what vowels mean. So there are lots of people that believe that for some reason, ancient Hebrew was void of vowels or vowel diversity. And so that the language was restricted to a single A-class vowel. And for people that believe Hebrew didn't have any vowels, I challenge each and every one of you to attempt to produce a single consonant in the absence of a vowel. You will not be able to do it in this plane of existence, I guarantee you. So if you want to play along at home, you cannot produce a consonant in the absence of a vowel. All right. So how do vowels impact semantics? So semantics is meaning, right? Morphology, what it looks like. Phonology, what it sounds like. Syntax, the arrangement. So what do we know about the arrangement of ancient Hebrew? Well, we know that ancient Hebrew is a language. Syntactically, it is a VSO language. These are things you should write down. These are things you can check me on, right? Is ancient Hebrew a VSO language, right? What does VSO mean? VSO, all right, stands for verb, subject, object. What is the verb? The verb is the action, what is happening, right? He smashed, right? Who is doing the smashing? That is the subject, the actor, the person performing the action. He smashed. Shaber ish gadol, right? The great man smashed. And what did he smash? Et ishto, right? So the object is the thing acted upon receiving the action, right? So verb, subject, object. So shiber ish gadol, or shiber ish gadol et ishto. So the great man engaged in rigorous coitus with his wife, right? So shiber is the active intensive conjugation of shin bet resh. Now, notice I didn't say shabar, he broke his wife. He didn't break his wife. That has a different implication, right? Versus, oh man, he smashed, right? He smashed, right? So the implication is different. So I didn't say shabar gadol et eshto. I didn't say that. I said shiber so the big man, the great man, smashed his wife or engaged in rigorous coitus. All right. So what was the verb? Shiber. What was the subject? Ha'ish hagadol, the great man. All right. What was the object? Ishto, his wife. All right. So VSO versus SVO. SVO is like English. Okay. The king gave gold or gave his gold to my sister. So in English, again, SVO, subject, verb, object. The subject is the king, right? So in English, we say the king. What is the object gave? What did he give? Gold. All right. So we could say in Hebrew, Natan Hamelik et Zahab le achoti. So the king gave his gold to my sister. All right. All right. So moving forward, those are the differences in terms of syntax. Hebrew is Hebrew is a VSO language as opposed to English being an SVO language. You could look this up. These are things you can Google, right? So if someone says, I don't understand what syntax is, well, we can look that up. If someone were to say, well, I think what I have in front of me is an ancient Hebrew scroll, then we can look at it and say, well, what is the syntax? We know that ancient Hebrew is a VSO language. Can we identify the characteristics of a verb? Well, in order to do that, we have to understand the morphology, the look. Right? How do we begin to understand the behavior of the verb? Right? So the verb has certain characteristics, certain things that it presents. All right. And if you're listening to it, it even sounds a certain way when juxtaposed to nouns. All right. Or maybe even an adjective. All right. So in this case, we're going to look at 3 different languages, and we're going to look at nuances of how they appear morphologically and how they sound phonologically. All right. And we'll even evaluate their respective syntax or syntactic presentations. All right. So here we go. Here we have, and again, what we did, we opted to write out 3 different languages. All right. Utilizing one script so that we can say, oh, well, it must be Yiddish, which is an Indo-European language, as opposed to ancient Hebrew or any type of Hebrew, which is by definition an Afro-Asiatic language and not an Indo-European language. So if someone were to say, oh, that's Yiddish, simply Google what Yiddish is, right? You can look up the lexemes, right, the words of Yiddish, and compare them to the words of Hebrew. Like the word for brother, Judah versus ach, right? So look up the words, even though it uses the same orthography, it doesn't necessarily mean it's the same language. All right. So Yitain melkurabu kharada da lechacha lehachalhu lehachalihu lehilima. All right, so let's do it slowly. Now, remember, we went through our graphemic index. So obviously we said we can't expect to learn Hebrew in one day, but we can involve everybody, right? And we can just walk through it. This is our yeah. So yiten, yitain, all right. Malku, all right. Rabu, kharada, right? Da la kha. So da la kha 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 le ha kalhu, right? Le ilima. And here, well, let's go ahead and parse it out. All right, let's just go ahead and talk it out, and then we'll compare. All right. So this is our G stem prefix conjugation preterite. This is our, so prefix conjugation means that we conjugate the verb utilizing a prefix versus a suffix. A prefix is something that you stick on the front of something, right? Versus a suffix that you stick on the back end of something. All right. So so he gave. All right, so this is our verb. So we've identified our verb. So right now we see that it's in the first position. So this is a VSO language, or is it at least it's exhibiting evidence of being a VSO language. Right? So this, if this is our verb, now we're looking to identify our subject. So our verb is the action, the subject is the performer of the action. Now, the one thing that we can say with some degree of certainty, we should expect to see subject-verb agreement. Subject-verb agreement simply means that the performer of the action and the action must agree in terms of gender. Like if it is a male, that means the appearance and the sound of the verb must reflect the gender of the performer. So in this case, this exhibits the morphological and phonological features of a verb, and the subject being, or the performer of this action being, a masculine singular entity, all right, in the third person. So this is a simple active, right? So simple active relates to the mood, right? Is it an intensive action? Is it causative? Is it passive? Is it reflexive? No, this is a very simple action, like he loved, he ate, he drank, he slept. Okay, he gave, or he set, he gave. And who gave? Malakurabu. So this particular vowel or thematic vowel setting is indicative of the subject being a masculine singular nominative case. Okay, so this particular language is using case vowels. So this particular thematic vowel setting again is indicative of this masculine singular entity being the subject of the verb. All right, kharada. This particular masculine singular noun is vocalized to reflect that this is receiving the action. This is in the accusative. Okay, receiving. So this is a masculine singular accusative noun. All right, the great king gave gold. Harada. What type of gold? Da. This is our relative pronoun, so relative determinative. So which, and it's also going to agree in terms of case, gender, and number, right? So da relating back to this. So yatan malqurabu kharada da lekhacha. Here, the thematic vowels of this particular triconsonantal root indicate that this is a G stem, Grundstamm, right, meaning base stem in German, Grundstamm. So this is a G stem, meaning a simple active verb. He took. All right, and the thematic vowels, A class vowel in root radical 1, root radical 2 receives it, A class vowel, root radical 3, A class vowel, l'chacha. So this is a third masculine singular G stem suffix conjugation preterite, which he took. So he gave, who gave, the great king or king, the great one, gold, which he took, okay, of or from. So this is our preposition lam operating as from or of, all right. Hekadhu, our masculine singular genitive noun with a third masculine singular pronominal possessive suffix. Now I know that's a mouthful. So we can indicate that this noun is being possessed by something by adding a suffix. Suffix is something what we stick to the end. A prefix is what we stick to the front. So we prefix this preposition lamed to this noun, okay? And then we suffix this hey to this noun to indicate it's being possessed by a third masculine singular entity. Now, if this was a language that possessed all A-class vowels, and we put an A-class vowel with that hey, like lehachelha, no, excuse me, lehacheliha, that would be a feminine singular, third feminine singular pronominal possessive suffix, like her palace. So again, trying to limit a language to a single vowel will prove to be problematic across the board and make the language completely unintelligible, which will disqualify from being a language. All right, so moving on. And then we have here lihilima, our preposition, inseparable preposition prefix to this masculine or gender inclusive, okay, plural oblique noun, okay, meaning it possesses the same morphological and phonological features of the accusative and the genitive. All right, so ilima. So basically, this is saying, so he gave, who gave the great king gold, which he took from his palace to the gods. All right, here. All right, Yahab, Malkaraba. All right, Yahab. So here we would look, and we've identified, or we believe this is to be our verb based on the morphological presentation, what we see. All right, so this is our ya, ha, ba. I'm using a very short vowel here, A-class vowel here, so yahab. All right, so this would be our pal, our simple active, third masculine singular, suffix conjugation preterite. He gave. So notice here, yatin mal korabu. So we have comparable in semantic representation, even though it's not spelled the same, it's not even the same word. All right, so this is yahab, but here we have malkaraba. All right, here malkorabu. So there seems to be something that's comparable. So we might consider this to be cognate because of the level of comparability, right? So yahab malkaraba le dhahab. All right, our inseparable preposition indicating that what is following is in the accusative or receiving the action. Dhahaba, masculine singular emphatic noun. Okay, here's our relative pronoun D. All right, so we had something that was comparable up here. We had our determinant, so da carrying the accusative. Up here we have D. All right, so operating as the relative pronoun which. All right, and then we have presence of another verb, and this is our hafel. All right, this is our causative active suffix conjugation, third masculine singular from the triconsonantal root or shorish. Triconsonantal root, a lot of syllables in that, but it simply says that means that we have a root, a base meaning comprised of a series of three consonants, hence tri-consonantal root. The root, or the shorish in Hebrew, is the basic semantic value associated with the three consonants. Every now and then you'll have a quad root, but for the most part, you will see a high frequency of triconsonantal roots. Okay, so in this case, our triconsonantal root or shorish, nun, pe, qaf, and the causative active, this is he took out. Okay, so which he took out. Okay, here's our preposition min. All right, and then we have hekal, hechle, hechle. So here we have something that's comparable. All right, we had our hey, kaf, lamed. Of course, this is our prefix preposition, our suffix, pronominal suffix, possessive suffix. Here we have our hey, our kaf, our lam. All right, and here is our third masculine singular pronominal possessive suffix. But notice the difference in phonological presentation. So hechle versus le hechelihu. All right. So we still have morphologically something that is comparable in terms of um, semantic root value and the presentation of the pronominal suffix. All right. So these are cognate features. These are things that you might want to write down and look up. Cognate. So when we talk about cognate languages, all right. And then we have lohe. So this is our inseparable preposition, and this is our plural, masculine plural, or gender inclusive emphatic. All right. And so here, this aleph is the definite article. Same way here, that makes this the definite article, the definite article. All right, making these emphatic nouns. Malakarava, lehalaha. All right. So, meaning, he gave, who gave? The great king, gold, which he took from, or took out from, his palace to the gods. All right. Here, let's look at this one. Vayeten hamelech hagadol et zahab asher lekach min hechelu leElohim. All right, so let's break it down here. We have a woe, and I included an A-class vowel, which would signal to a listener, because there are no diacritics here, so you have to know the vocalization or understand how to derive vocalization from morphological presentation. So if you know that the language is a VSO language, verb, subject, object, and you can identify your verb, right, in terms of its morphological presentation, the look, you can surmise the sound. Here we see that we have a woe, our yeah, our ta, and our noon. So this has everything, or all the look, all the features of a third masculine singular. Now we're going to have to surmise the vocal setting based on which stem is it. Is it a simple active, G passive? Is it active intensive, passive intensive? What are the possibilities? So then we kind of have to look and find out. At least we know we have our subject verb agreement. Here's our hamelik. So here, our emphatic noun is identified by the presence of the hey operating as the definite article. And how do we know that this is the definite article? Well, how I vocalize this, you heard gemination here. Gemination is a fancy way of saying doubling. So, Wayiten hamelik, hamelik. Full A-class vowel gemination in the first consonant following the definite article. Hamelik hagadol, gemination. Full A-class vowel. Hamelik hagadol. All right, so, and he gave. So, Wayiten hamelik hagadol et zahab. All right, so the great king gave gold, or the gold which, here's our relative pronoun, asher, right? So notice the difference between asher and d and da. Asher, d, da. This language, yeten malkorabu charada da lechacha lehachaleho liilima yahab malkaraba ledahaba de hanpech min hechle lechelahe vayiten hamelech hagadol zahab asher lekach. We saw this here. So this is our G stem, third masculine singular, or call, simple active, third masculine singular, meaning the subject performer of the action is a singular entity and not in the room like he. So he and she, they, that's third person. So lekach, he gave, okay, or took, excuse me. Men are preposition from, hechelu, All right, from his palace are masculine singular noun and construct with a third masculine singular pronominal possessive suffix, meaning that this woe here lets you know that this noun is being possessed by a third masculine singular entity, which is the king. All right, the great king. So, and he gave the great king the Hob. Now, notice how this language uses a Zain and this one uses a Dal, but the word is the same. The Hob, the Hob. So that means that there are more phonemes in the language than there are graphemes to represent them. So that means that we utilize one phoneme in some cases to represent more than, one grapheme to represent in some cases more than one phoneme. And we see evidence of this here in this particular language, attesting this lexical concept, right? The Hob versus the Hob, spelled with a dal or a dal versus a val. So the Hob, a Shalakach, okay, min hechelu Elohim. So again, from his palace to the gods are inseparable preposition, masculine, plural, gender inclusive noun. So I know that's a bum load of information. I got it in under 20 minutes. So here are the bullet points. One, we have 3 different languages, right, utilizing the same orthography, meaning the same script. However, we see that even though syntactically they're comparable, right, they're all VSO presentations, some of the lexemes, right, the words are not the same, and some of the constituents, right, the parts of speech are not the same. So in the case of this language, this emphatic noun uses the hey as a definite article versus this language, as a prefix hey, this language is suffixes and aleph. All right, in this language here, you have to surmise that it is a definite or emphatic noun. All right, so there we have it. 1, orthography does not determine the language. Why? Because we have 3 different languages using the same orthography. All right. Can we utilize Aramaic block script to decipher or to understand an ancient language? Yeah, because I could probably write this all out in Aramaic block script. All right. And also the Dead Sea Scrolls are written in Aramaic square script. All right. So those are my bullet points. I'm sorry for rushing through it. I'll mute.
Con.
Hallelujah.
Okay.
Elder Shaly, you can go ahead, and then once you finish up, then we'll dialogue a little bit and talk about Sunday. Okay?
Hey, what game? My teacher, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
We're gonna put you up.
So Mitzil, my teacher spoke very well. I'm not gonna be long. I just want to look at 2 verses coming from the book of Shemot, Exodus chapter 20 and verse 1 and verse 2. We want to look at. So if you can use a Phoenician script and say we do not need the Naku system on the vowels, I pray professor don't think that way. Let's look at a couple of things. The very first word in Shemot chapter 20 and verse 1 is say Waidabir. Now, if you can use da ba ra, how would you know what tense this word is in? So the very first word, Waidabir, is what we call a woe conjunction, prefix preterite in a PL with stem. The way it's translated is that it's in the imperfect third masculine singular. That don't make sense. Other words, like I will spoke, he will speak in the imperfect tense. It doesn't mean that. So again, we're dealing with a woe conjunction and a prefix preterite in a PL, which we call the D stem intensive with stem. Okay, and your root is be dalet beit resh. Okay, the next word we have in Shemot 20 is Elohim. That is a masculine plural noun. Okay, the next word we have is et, which is direct object. So how would they say ata? et, how would you use the aleph in the top? Okay, you got it, code, dealing with direct object, you're dealing with a masculine singular, what now in construct. Okay, the next word you have there is Hadebayam, then you have Ha'eli. Let's break it down. For the word words, you have a definite article, masculine plural down, definite article, masculine plural adjective, which is these. Then your final word in Exodus 20 and 1, you have the word lemor. Preposition, we call G stem or call stem, offended construct, all these were the same. Okay, very important. Without the Naku system, you would be making up words to make it up your own form of words to make it make sense. If you try to send any one of your students to any major college saying Abagada, they can get run out of college. And you would get fired if you're teaching at a major college teaching that. It don't make sense. It's not proper with Hebrew word grammar and syntax. Now, 2, Exodus 22, mother point. It's a enoki. Okay, that's a personal pronoun, first common singular personal pronoun as the subject. Okay. Then you have Yohe-Wahe. Yohe-Wahe, when it is prefixed, it will come from the Hifir, causative stem, imperfect third masculine singular, which come from a third hey verb, hey, yod, hey. Okay. In other words, you translate it, I'm he that causes to exist. Let's move on. Again, Elaheka, masculine plural noun with a second masculine singular pronoun suffix, possessive mean, you translate English, your gods. So if you pull the Naku system away, how would you know? How would you pronounce that? La, ha, ka. That don't even make no sense. That don't even sound right. That don't even sound intelligent. Okay, I wouldn't teach my granddaughter that. Okay, so let me finish. You got Aleph, Shin, Resh. In biblical Hebrew, classical Hebrew, we call this what? A relative what? Pronoun. Ashur. Who? Okay. Next word you have in Exodus 22 is Jose Teka. You're dealing with a Hifil perfect, first common singular, second masculine singular pronoun suffix from the root Yod, Zadi, Aleph. Other word, causative stem. And I'll give you translation in a minute. The next word we have is Mem, Aleph, Res, Zadi, Res, preposition, feminine singular noun, construct, other word, out of the land of, Mishram, proper noun, my bait, preposition, masculine singular noun, construct, out of the house of, Abadam, out of the house of what? Servitude. So now, the way they translate in English is other word in brought. Other word, they've been caused to be erected from the land of Mishram because of the word Jose Teka from the shores, from the 3-letter root, Yod, Zadi, Aleph. And I rest my case. That's it, Elder.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. So, before I ask maybe 1 or 2 questions, I want to say, great job. Let me take my, yeah, wait a minute. I want to say great job. Yeah, Shashan, put all this back up, please. Thank you. Yeah, great job. Great presentation, both of you. I hope people that do have some knowledge of the Hebrew got some edification, a quick 25 minutes of edification. Yeah, you can
Great
put
job.
that food up. A quick 25 minutes of edification. This is what we're about on this station channel. We're about breaking down walls, breaking down walls of separation and try to get some understanding. Like I said, iron sharpen iron. You know, a lot of brothers are actually scared to sit down and have these conversations. You know, sometimes they may get heated. You know, so if you think it's gonna get heated, this is a good platform to bring it on where it can be somewhat controlled. And sometimes it's good to have a little bit of fire, you know, because it'll make you study a little harder. You know, if your butt get kicked, you know, point blank period. So Let me start out. Let me ask this question here first. I saw in the chat room. Anybody have a question? We'll take two, maybe two questions if you have it. And I do know some questions Mr. Cummings may have, Professor may have, so I'll leave that to him. Come Sunday, most how I will. So if anybody have any questions, please put it in the comment board. We would appreciate it. I saw, in fact, if you want to put the link in the room, you can. But we put the link in the room. It's not going to be a long drag out, another class. You could come on and say your piece and keep it respectfully, or you'll get booted off. Point blank, period. I have no dog in this race. I'm not a master in the Hebrew. Shashan speaks both dialects of it. Very, very good at it. So my question, brothers, which one? Because I heard the mighty Hebrew said it's a Professor Lee Cummings is speaking Lashawan Kadash or One West. I'm not sure which dialect he's using. Maybe Shashan can explain it. Which one is the oldest? Which one is the oldest? What Professor Lee's Cummings coming with, or what you brothers are speaking on? Which form is oldest?
You talking about the script? I think.
Yes, sir.
I don't think Teach can hear you.
No, you know what? You're on mute. You're on mute. You're on mute. We hear
All right.
nothing you said.
All right, can you hear me now, Shema?
You had to start over. Go ahead.
All right. So everyone can hear me now, right?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
All right. So this one here is going to be older than this one and this one. These two are both attested.
We didn't see it. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Pardon me. Put it on big screen so we can see that, please. So when he points, so we can see it. All
right. So this language here that
right.
I read first, and I can't remember how I vocalized it, so I want to make sure. So Yatin. All right. So Yatin versus Wayitain. So Yatin is older than Yahab and Wayitain. So this is older than these two are both attested in a comparable time period. But this is older than both in terms of attestation.
So, I mean, when you say older,
now for Lashawan Kadesh, I'm just going to be honest. There is no, and when I say no, there is no substantive body of evidence to substantiate or corroborate any assertion that Lashawan Kodesh as a language existed with only A-class vowels. There is no body of evidence to substantiate any claim that any Northwest Semitic language attested as early as the 10th century BCE possessed a single A-class vowel. So for me to say, was Lashawan Kodesh even in the timeline? It's not in the timeline because there's no body of evidence to support the claim that it was ever attested as a language. So for instance, we could take this particular orthography and arbitrarily assign A-class vowels or I-class vowels, and it doesn't mean that that's how the ancient language existed or behaved, right? So it's kind of like a loaded question. So in terms of saying that, like for instance, if I just put up Nun Shin Mem Resh, right? Matter of fact, let's not even do it theoretically. Let's just do it. All right. All right. So here's a Nun, here's a Shin, here's a Mem, and here's a Resh. All right. So if Professor Cummings is saying that ancient Hebrew only possessed a single A-class vowel, how do you differentiate between Nashamar, meaning he kept, and Nashamar, he was kept? Because if there's only one vowel, how do you do that? Because this would also mean, we shall keep, right? So is this we shall keep, or is this he was kept, right? So this noon here, plus the triconsonantal root shin mem resh, meaning to keep, right? This noon could mean that this is a passive conjugation like nishmar. So nishmar Yosef bebet paro. Joseph was kept in the house of Paro, versus nishmor et kol mezot il alion. We will keep all of the instructions of the Most High God. Nishmor versus nishmar. Nishmor means we shall keep. Nishmar means he was kept. So in the absence of vowel diversity, the language is a train wreck. It's not intelligible, right? How do you differentiate?
Okay, let me ask you this then. When you put up three, I don't know if I want to say language, but you put up the three oldest, 1, 2, 3. How did they start differentiating from one another? What changed it? What happened?
Oh, wow. What happened here in America? I mean, if you put an American in a room full of Brits, the American won't understand a word that the Brits are saying, because
Well,
Americans don't speak English. They speak American. American English and British English is so different that the colloquialisms are not mutually intelligible. And then if we just said, hey, let's say I come in and I speak Chaucer in English, right? From Geoffrey Chaucer's period, Middle English or something. No one now would even understand what I'm saying. And nor would I be able to understand you, because the languages are not mutually intelligible. There's just that much time for the language to evolve. So what makes a language evolve? Colonization, being inundated with other cultural facets that come through military conquest, that come through trade. So, I mean, look at, for instance, the way that diasporic Africans speak English in America is not the same as diasporic Europeans, the way they speak English in America. And we know this is true because diasporic Africans are quick to be like, you sound white or you talk white. So there must be distinct speech patterns that allow us to differentiate between the respective social spheres. So the same thing would apply to these respective languages. What causes a language to be accepted by one culture and have their own language displaced? Military conquest. The person with the biggest stick gets to name the language and the religion. So in the
okay,
case
well
of,
said. Let me
go ahead.
no go ahead, Slocky. No, go ahead, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, so in the case of Aramaic displacing other languages, it became the lingua franca based on military conquest. So the military decides which language they're going to use to consolidate their empire. And so we can look and be like, oh, well, the kingdom of Akkad had Akkadian, and it thrived for a while, and it was the lingua franca. We see that Akkadian was used as far over as Ugarit. So, so Akkadian as a Northeast Semitic language, it being used as far over as Ugarit as an administrative language, that says a lot, you know. So that means that everyone had to be literate in Akkadian in order to do business with the people that were the preeminent military and economic power during that time.
Okay, so you actually beat me to my second question, because I was going to ask when the one you said that second, you give is any of these writings on any ancient text? Let's say the second one you were speaking about, on any ancient text, and in what area of the globe, and in what century?
This particular language is attested as early as the 14th century BCE. This one and this one are both attested as early as the 10th century BCE, and both are Northwest Semitic languages, meaning that you would find them over in the area of Canaan. And actually, this as Aramaic could be used as far over as possibly Iraq. So
Any of these languages spoken today, any of the second and third language that you spoke of, spoken today in that area?
These are not going to be spoken languages. None of these are currently utilized as spoken languages. These are all going to be liturgical or academic languages, meaning that they're no longer spoken. I don't want to use the term dead language, but they're no longer spoken.
Okay, so are any of these languages found on any ancient text, any book, any walls, any writings, anywhere?
Oh yeah, yeah. So I didn't make this up. I didn't just.
Oh no, I know that. I'm just asking a question. Yeah, I know that.
Yeah. So in order to to reference any of these languages and their respective behaviors, I would say reference ancient or look at the behavior, say ancient Hebrew morphology, ancient Aramaic or biblical Aramaic, possibly Imperial Aramaic morphology, Phoenician morphology, and so then you can start saying what are the behaviors, both morphologically and phonologically for the respective languages, and then you can start saying, okay, well, where would I find these languages written? So you would probably look at KTU texts. You could probably find biblical Aramaic text, administrative text, non or extra biblical text. For biblical Hebrew, you might find some extra biblical text, but for the most part, you would probably be referencing Dead Sea Scrolls has this type of Hebrew. So,
Okay, well, I have one more question. Come here, Yashapa. Can you see the comment board?
I'm sorry, can you say that one more time, please?
Can you see the comment board?
Let me go look for it now.
Because somebody's asking a question, and some of these words, I got to be honest with you, man, I can't even pronounce. So they want you to explain something here. Elder Shaw, you want to say something briefly while he looks on the comment board for the questions?
I have a little question too.
Go ahead and ask it.
Okay. Well, the question I'm trying to get to is, do either have any type of documentation of vowel points being used by Moses the prophet? And because when we look at certain ancient writings, I believe the vowel points, the dots that they put on top of the modern day Hebrew on the top and on the side, starting at about the 9th century, CE and AD. So are there any documents that you guys have to indicate vowel point using during the time or maybe a little time after Moses the prophet himself, later than, these so-called Jewish rabbis?
Thanks for the question, brother. Did you see a comment board, Professor?
Yeah, I saw that. I'm going to talk about, I saw Matre Lectiones and the Diacritics. So it's kind of like along the same. I could probably answer all these together. So one, we don't have any evidence that Moses even spoke any type of Hebrew. That would be a bit anachronistic, because Hebrew, what we call Hebrew, is a Canaanite language, a Northwest Semitic language, right? And so for the purported time period from Moses and his upbringing, it wouldn't be the most likely candidate that he would be speaking Hebrew, but even then, moving forward, obviously, we wouldn't expect them to use the same script, because we know when Assyrian square script began to replace Canaanite script. So that would also be anachronistic. So we wouldn't expect to see the diacritics employed in the Masoretic tradition during Moses's purported time period, because that would be anachronistic, meaning completely out of place. So to answer the question, it's not possible. Now, as relates to matre or matres lectiones, matres lectiones is a system whereby certain consonants are appropriated to indicate certain classes of vowels, meaning that we have our graphemic index here, right? And of these graphemes, there are certain graphemes that are going to be utilized to indicate certain classes of vowels, including the aleph, all right, the hey to indicate syllable ultimate or final syllable A class vowel. We have the woe to indicate the U class vowel. We have the ya to indicate the I class vowel. Now, due to the rules of syllabification, we know that a syllable minimum value must be a consonant and a vowel. Under no circumstances can a Hebrew word begin with a vowel. So we know that matre lectiones means that these consonants in any other position other than the first position can be utilized to indicate certain classes of vowels in certain positions. All right. So in the case of the woe, let's see here. I can write, let's say, ani cholech. All right. So I'm going. I utilize this woe to indicate the presence of the U class vowel, which is consistent with the masculine singular active participle. The triconsonantal root is hey, lam, kaf. This woe indicates the U class vowel. Cholech, I am going. All right. I can utilize the hey as matre lectiones to indicate the syllable ultima A class vowel. So in the case of the triconsonantal root, hey, yod, hey, if I want to produce a third feminine singular suffix conjugation preterite, meaning perfect, okay, this is how it looks. Haita, okay, and this represents our syllable ultimate A class vowel. So this hey is not a consonant, but it is representing the A class vowel in the final syllable, haita. Here's another example of what that could look like. We could say from this same root, shin mem resh, we can produce, actually, let's erase that. Let's just keep going. So shin mem resh, whoops. Sorry, I wasn't supposed to use that script, but I forgot. So this is what it would look like in the other script. All right. So this is going to be vocalized shamra. Shamra. This is a third feminine singular suffix conjugation preterite, simple active from the triconsonantal root of shor, shem, mem, resh, meaning she kept. Shomra Sarah et kol debre malach Yahweh. So Sarah kept all the words of the messenger of Yahweh. Shomra. This hey indicates the presence of a syllable ultima or final syllable A class vowel here. It is not a consonant. All right. So those are just a few examples of matre lectiones, right? From the syllable matres lectiones, right? Matres is plural, matre singular. So matre lectiones, all right? The hey, the woe, and the yod. All right. Hopefully that helped.
Okay, hallelujah. So I saw, and let me say this: I have no dog in this fight because I don't speak Hebrew. like that, Shasham does. So Jay, and went away. Somebody named Jay. Put the link in the room, and Jay, you welcome to come on, and we're gonna close it out after Jay come on. If you want to come on and make a statement, and put the link in the room. Anybody else will come make a statement? Oh.
I think Mighty Hebrew having a connection problem because he came on a few times.
Oh, he did. Corey Brown.
Yeah, he did.
Sounds like
he came on
to me. Okay. Let me say this right here. Let me
that's
say
not
this.
Yiddish.
I do
Yiddish
have a lot of Hebrew books, and I really don't get into them. But like Moses is not. I could be wrong, but Moses is not even a Hebrew name. You understand? So when we go into different things, we say Yiddish and all this type of stuff. We got to be very careful because I have a book that's actually called the Yiddish language, and I'm like, is this the Yiddish language? What is the Yiddish language? Because it's a breakdown of form of Hebrew, different forms of Hebrew mixed in.
Yeah,
right.
It is because I have a Yiddish New Testament. I have like 3 Yiddish dictionaries, and I have a Yiddish book that says 101 on Yiddish language. It's not the same because when you start looking up the words and you could compare it in the Hebrew, it's a German language mixed with basically kind of like with Hebrew. They seem like kind of together, but it's not. It ain't Hebrew.
Right,
but it's different. It's not the same. So when you speak, not Yiddish.
Right. I have no dog in this fight. So, but I'm very interested in this because, like I said, we all want to be on a higher learning, and I just know Sundays. I'm very interested in this because, like I said, we all want to be on a higher learning, and I just know. I think that you're like yeah. Okay. Say German and Arabic. Well, some of it is, but like I said, I had no dog fight because I'm not a scholar nowhere near on this level, so I can't. I usually love getting my 2 cents.
Right. Is it okay if I ask another question?
Go ahead. No, that's fine. No, hold on. Go ahead, Dirty son. Go ahead.
Oh, Yakana.
Go ahead and speak, bro. Yakana, go ahead.
Miss
Yakana, you're on mute. Go ahead.
Shalom, brothers. I just wanted to commend the brother Mitzil for his work and his research, and I just he comes across to me as a person who's done his research on language and what those things like morphology and phonemes and graphemes, what they actually mean. And this is one of the things that I've always stressed about the Hebrew language is if you don't know the Hebrew language, then there's no way for you to tell what Yiddish is or what Paleo Hebrew is. And everybody that tries to ascribe that Paleo Hebrew is more than just an alphabet, they're saying that from a standpoint of not knowing what language or how language works. And that's all I wanted to say. The brother was right on point, and I could have watched that like a movie, the way he broke it down.
Okay.
Elder Shael, you want to say anything before Alaya asks his next question? Elder Shael?
Oh man, teach basic cover everything. Here's a prime example. What I ask brothers: when we look at Deuteronomy chapter 32, in the very first word there is Ha'azanu. My question would be with the brothers with the Lashwan Kodesh, what brothers don't know that I came from that Lashwan Kodesh. I know it very well. So it's good to play stupid sometimes. So when I ask those questions, I know the language very, very well, and you should teach it. Now, we look at Exodus 32 and 1. How would you know in what verb tense would this word be in? I'm sorry, the book of Deuteronomy 32 and 1. Could it be a call? Could it be a default? Could it be a PL? Without going to a blue letter Bible and try to cheat, without putting your time in and study the language? What could it be? It's a give ear. So that's question one. Hashemayim, what is it? What's the hey doing in front of Shin Mem Yod Mem? It's a definite article, masculine, plural, noun, the heavens. So let me give you the answer. So the word that Zanu is in Hifel causes them imperative. It's more like a command. He's giving a command to give ear, O heavens. How would you know without the Naku system except you making up something? How would you know? So I'm not even getting to know ancient Egyptian writing as eloquent I say what Moshe name mean. Then we had to go to another whole grammar lesson. But it's not the show for the night.
Right.
So I'm not gonna finish parts. It's just too much stuff. Go ahead, Kana.
No, I'll just say hallelujah on that. And I mean, great lesson, Elder. Brother, I agree or disagree. Great lesson. Like I say, I'm not a student in Hebrew like that, but I'm willing to learn, man. And I'm gonna be very interested to see what Professor Lee Cummings is gonna say come Sunday. We call it Sunday Night Fire, so I guarantee you it's gonna be just that fire because he gave a lesson. We have brothers gave a lesson here tonight, and they get a chance to have a back and forth, the dialogue about it. So, Professor, we're gonna give you the last word.
Please forgive me. I just want to give you that Moses thing right quick. The name Moses. If we were just to keep his name within the textual tradition, in terms of what it means within the textual tradition, right? So Mem Shin Hey means to draw in the simple action, right? Mem Shin Hey. I could vocalize this with a U class vowel, A class vowel, so and then geminate this. Musha, right, means he was extricated, pulled out. I could put a O class or U class vowel here, E class vowel here. Moshe, right, Moshe, which means this is an active participle. He's the drawer. So Moshe, that particular vocalization means he's the active drawer. So Moshe, Hua Moshe et ha'am min eretz Mizraim. Hua, he is drawing. All right, so Hua Moshe et ha'am, he's drawing the people min from the land Mizraim. Right, so that's an active participle, Moshe. All right, sorry, there you go.
Done. And let me say this, as far as the dialects and everything that was being displayed. I find it more easier for me to learn Lashawan Quadash rather than biblical and classical Hebrew. It seems more difficult for me. That's just myself. But I still try to use the same concepts as y'all was saying when it comes to how will we know if it's first person, second person plural and stuff like that. So I understand the argument on why we do need a vowel system, because if, like I said, when I open my ancient Hebrew Torah, and how would I know what this word mean here, and how would I know what this word mean there? So I understand the whole argument and everything, but I'm just speaking for myself as a student in learning Hebrew. I found that using Lashawan Kodash was more easy for me to learn the system, even though I'm studying both still. So I just wanted to say that.
Just a quick question: does the Lashawan Kodesh allow people to read the scroll even in Paleo script? So, like, if we have a Paleo script with no diacritics, Does the Lashon Kodesh as a system allow people to comprehend what's written?
Well, for me, for me, knowing what the words is, I still comprehend.
Okay,
But
so for instance, if I wrote script
go ahead.
out that's not a biblical text where we could reference the grammar. So if I just wrote out ancient Lashon Kodesh that's not biblical text and said, okay, can we use the Lashon Kodesh to communicate with each other?
Right. Now, this is the reason why I'm gonna say no, because I have Hebrew dictionaries, and a lot of Hebrew dictionaries have non-biblical words, but words that was made for like the word freezer or refrigerator. When you look into I got this Oxford dictionary, those were not biblical words. They was made. You see what
No,
I'm saying?
we can use biblical dictionaries. I'm saying we're not going to use any words that didn't exist,
Okay.
all right, outside of the time period. So I'm saying, can we use the Lashon Kodesh system to communicate with each other?
I would say if at this point, I'm gonna say 100% no. I think it need more time and more development, but it's possible if we develop more into it. I think it could be.
So
But at this point, no. I'm not gonna. I
Let me,
don't.
let me,
A basic
can
conversation,
I,
but far as like how we talking and dealing with intellectualism, I'm gonna say no. I'm being honest. Basic stuff,
well, let me,
yeah. Like if we speaking saying yes, no, or hi, goodbye, or shalom, peace, and a few other things, I would say yeah. But giving you a whole conversation, I'm being honest. I'm gonna say no.
how will I
well, let
mean?
me,
I
let
don't
me,
even
let
know
me
if we could.
interject
Go ahead.
just for a second. Time out. Just let me interject just for a second, if you don't mind. When you say speak in the Lashon Kodesh, and like Shashem said, refrigerator, freezer, you know, certain words was not created. I mean, if you look at over the past 50 years, different words was being created, still being created. So to know every word, and some words not even being used anymore. You understand? Because we did speak different, like you said, how the language changed up during slavery, trade. So the language switched up. Like they got a what they call it, a new dictionary that they really named it for us, because we don't speak so-called correct English. What they call ebonics. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's kind of loaded, because to know every word that somebody was speaking 2,000 years ago, some of these words that we know right now, like you said, and what you broke down a lot, we don't even speak really. So to know what they was actually words they was using in certain aspects, I wouldn't think that'd be fair, because when you look at the Bible, it was translated and translated and translated and translated. So I think we have to be careful with that part of it. But I do have to agree. I don't think you can use, I would say, just about any Hebrew language. I've never heard anybody speak
Okay.
20-minute conversation in any dialect of the Hebrew. Is that fair?
זוקן שאל.
Shalom, shalom.
יש לי שאלה לך, זוקן שאל.
כן,
מה אתה עושה הלילה?
כן.
אתה
תודה רבה. Good
אתה
night.
לומד עברית בלילה?
Kang,
כן,
Mindabi Abri,
break tonight.
אני לומד את לשון אוגרי ואכדי. אני לא לומד את
Lamed is to study
לשון.
or to learn.
אני לא לומד
I do not know. I have not studied. I need Lord.
את לשון עברי.
I did not study Hebrew tonight or
אני מלמד את לשון עברי הלילה.
כן.
כן, זה
אני מלמד.
כן.
Okay,
in the back.
so you guys understood that. Okay, you're not studying Hebrew, but what I did say I'm doing tonight is I'm going to teach Hebrew.
Okay.
So I was able to augment the triconsonantal root, and had I not been able to augment the triconsonantal root, we would be at a position where it's like, how would we even say that I'm studying Hebrew tonight or I'm learning? So if Zoken Shael is teaching me Lashon Aramit, I'll be like, Hineni, Ani lomed et Lashon Aramit balayla, it Zoken Shael. Hua, okay, melamed iti, where Ani melumad meneku. All right, so he is teaching me and I'm learning from him.
Right.
All right, so I had to be able to augment the triconsonantal root, right? Lamed mem daled, right? To reflect that Shael is teaching me, right? Melamed, and I am milumad, I am learning.
Right. Right.
So if we had all A-class vowels, ana melamad, am I teaching or am I learning?
You wouldn't know.
Melamad.
You wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Because Lomed is to study or to learn. It also is to teach or to be the
vowel setting. So what we use, so I would have to augment the thematic vowel to reflect making someone to learn. So I need Lomed versus you're teaching me, I would say limadti, right?
Yeah.
Like you taught, right?
Right. So the Lashon Kodash actually only works with the Pa'al form of the verb. If you look at the Hebrew, the 7 branches of the language, you have like the Hifil, and you have the Pu'al and the Pa'al, and so the Lashon Kodash would only work with the infinitive present tense form of the Hebrew language. That's why when you go to the eSword or the Blue Letter Bible and you look up the words in the Hebrew lexicon, you'll see where it says this is the pa'al form of the verb, and most or all pa'al verbs have the sound.
Yeah.
And so when you look at the 3-letter roots or the 2-letter roots, and there are even some 4-letter roots, when they're in the pa'al form, you'll see that it's always So you were talking about to go, right? Is lelechet. And when you transliterate lelechet into the past tense or the future tense, you have nelech, you have lecha. You have to really know how to go into the pa'al root system and conjugate those verbs to find either the missing root letter or to transcribe those roots into the past tense or in the future tense, and you just can't do that with Lashon Kodash.
Yeah, I mean, and not only that, something else that it doesn't allow because of the exclusive use of the A-class vowel. If we were to look, matter of fact, we don't even have to do it conceptually. Let me just write it on the board again, right? So, if we were to look at
can we let Mighty Hebrew speak real quick? I think he want to say something, but he having a connection issue. So just in case he can drop, and you can come back to that real fast.
Sure. Just remind me to talk about the Alatal.
Okay. Mighty Hebrew, you wanted to say something? Because I know you keep going in and out. Mighty Hebrew. Okay, you can go ahead then. I think he's still having connection issues because he here, but Mighty Hebrew. Yeah, he I don't know what's going on with his.
He's on mute. He's actually on mute.
I'll try to
unmute. His phone on mute by accident. Okay, don't forget your. Go ahead, brother Elder. Go ahead. Don't forget your point. Let me say for you. I let you forget your point. Well done. You spoke. Spoke in that was impressive. All right. So yeah, go ahead.
All right. So we were talking about close. We were talking about the issue with the exclusive use of the A-class vowel. and why that proves to be problematic in terms of making the language intelligible, meaning that we have to be able to differentiate lexemes, like a word, a concept, right? Red versus red. Oh, that is a red blouse versus he read the book.
Right.
All right. All right. So even though this is out of town, if you exclusively use A-class vowels and say ata, ata is a second masculine singular subject pronoun, meaning you, masculine. So, hine zochen sha'el ata melamed lishon aramit halayla, right? You, masculine singular, are teaching Aramaic tonight. All right. But I could also, in Hebrew, say it, right? With. So I could be like hineni. Ane mitaber it elder or zochen sha'el. So ana mitaber, okay, mitdaver, hear it, ana mitdaver it zochen sha'el. So here I augmented the vowel from ata, meaning you, to it, meaning with. I am having a conversation with zochen sha'el. Ana mitaver it zochen sha'el versus hine zochen sha'el ma ata ose halayla. What are you doing tonight? Ata, right? Or I could make this feminine if I was talking to a woman. I could be like hineni achot, okay? Ma'ati, okay? All right, so again, the reason that this would prove to be problematic is because we have to also be able to differentiate between the preposition it with the second masculine singular or second feminine singular subject pronoun ata or ati, and also the article, the accusative, or the direct object marker et, right? So Vayedaber Elohim et kol hadabarim ha'ele la'amer versus hine zochen sha'el ma'ata ose, right? You, or ani mitdaber it zochen sha'el. All right. So with only an A-class vowel, we couldn't do that. All right. Sorry. Thank you.
Done. Mighty Hebrew, you wanted to go ahead and say something before you cut out? Mighty Hebrew. He was just saying something.
Can y'all hear me?
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Frank.
Shalom.
Go ahead and speak.
Shalom. Oh, what's going on?
Say it again. You was breaking up some. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I definitely enjoyed the discussion. What's going on, Elder Shaw? Ben Wall.
What's man?
Yo, the Moray put forth a nice presentation.
You're breaking up, Hebrew. We can't hear you.
And when you speak it, once we hear you say it still.
Say it again.
Okay, we can't hear you.
Yeah, you breaking up.
I have one. Yeah. And look, I do have one question. What is the language that people always? Well, I'm sorry, I got my window open. Somebody come past with a motorcycle. Where you see the cross in it or the stick figures, people in it, and they call it the Hebrew. What dialect is that they call?
Oh, you talking about the script? That's the ancient,
Pictographic. Yeah.
the ancient script. The
Yeah.
old, yeah.
They call
What
it
is
pictographic.
different?
Proto-Semitic
What
script.
is the hold tight? What is different between the ancient script and what we spoke on tonight? Briefly, or we can deal with it on another time.
Orthography. It's just the presentation.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now? How about now?
Yes, go ahead.
Orthography. So orthography, that's our word, meaning the representation of a language's sound through symbols or letters. So the representation of sound is just that, right? It doesn't mean that it represents the language. It's just the representation of sound. So this particular language utilized that grapheme to represent the sound the, right? The, like a DZ, the hob. But it's using what we would call the dab. But you would have to know the language well enough to know that this language calls this the hob. You'd also have to know that this language utilizes this grapheme to say the hob. All right. So, yeah, I think all in all, I don't even know how to answer that question like that. Yeah, I don't know how to answer it.
Elder Canal, the best way to look at it is with the example that I gave a few days ago on the call when Shar Sham had that hat on that had the name, the four letters with the Paleo Hebrew. If you understand that orthography is just the script that is the language is written in, if you are changing the script, I could change the modern aleph for the paleo aleph for the pictographic aleph, which was the ox head. And I have not changed the meaning of the word. I've just changed the script with which it was written in. And that's what orthography is. It's just what sound represents the D sound. What picture or what description represents the D sound? What description represents the SH sound? Is it going to be the two front teeth? Is it going to be the block Hebrew shin? So if you're changing the script, but you're not changing any of the structure, or you're not removing the verb and putting another verb, or changing the ordering of the words, then you have not changed the language. You've only changed the penmanship.
Okay,
Exactly.
good answer. I'm sure somebody's going to come on. Most High will Sunday, and we can get into that.
Right.
This was a wonderful bill. I hope everybody enjoyed the bill. Thank you, brothers, for coming on the platform. I hope you also enjoyed yourself coming on the platform, and
Hey,
hope you will come on again even after Sunday. So anybody want to give a closing statement? You brothers give a closing statement, and then Sham, I'm gonna play out with something I got, then you end it without our other track. So whatever order you want to go in, it doesn't matter.
Real
That's
quick,
you. Oh,
how
I
you
didn't see
doing?
you on there. Shalom, I didn't see you on there.
I had to call. I had to call it real quick, right? Because it's this moron on the comment board, right? Calling himself JK? This retarded Negro. Listen, we know that at one point in time they all spoke the same language. We know this, but according to Scripture, I'm trying to let this Negro know that after the Tower of Babel, that's when God confused the languages and scattered them throughout the whole planet Earth.
good.
It's amazing, man. It's amazing how retarded our people are, man. I'm telling you.
Oh,
All right.
So,
All right.
I mean, in all fairness, this is what we have to do. We have to empathize with the perspective of the individual right? Meaning that we could be shoulder to shoulder looking in the same direction, but we're not going to see the same thing because two things cannot occupy the same space in the same physical plane. So that means there's going to be inherent divergences and perspectives. So we have to understand that this person's perspective on the text was not afforded to them based on their keen or ardent scholarly analysis of the literature. It's generally like someone gave them a doctrine and said, understand this body of literature and translation through this doctrinal lens. That's why people have these perspectives. Like, for instance, I got to be honest, and I'm not even ashamed to say it anymore, but I quit going to the synagogue and going to services, and my friends are like, dude, I haven't seen you in service in a while, because I'm like, when I hear learned people that went to rabbinical school, and that is hard as hell to get through rabbinical school, mind you, when I hear them say things like Abraham was the best Jew, and I'm like, dude, there's no way Abraham was a Jew. He fathered the people that fathered that. You know what I'm saying? So it aggravates me when I hear that. And so every religious body have their own perspectives, but I think ultimately what we have to do is encourage people to say, if you're going to be a Hebrew, it is in your best interest to be able to read the Hebrew text. It doesn't matter what script is written in. You need to be able to manage the language, right? And the fact that someone was nice enough to give you the vowels to help you to understand what the verb conjugations are, they did you an immense favor. Don't be mad at them. Thank them. And that's just the God's honest truth, because Elder Shael can tell you, when we have our conventions and seminars, we work on multiple languages. Some of the languages are in cuneiform and they don't have diacritics. So good luck with that. If you don't know the language, you cannot even figure out what's being said. So it's an endearing testament to the scholarship of these linguists, these grammarians, these philologists, right? These ardent literary scholars, that they knew the language well enough to document what they were hearing, the vocal tradition as it was passed down through antiquity, as they understood it. That's like if I'm like, you was spitting that straight far, and you were an ardent scholar, you would figure out a way to write down straight far, right? Not straight fire, because that's not what I said. So the Masoretic tradition would vocalize, boy, you spoke that straight far, right? So
let me say this right here. You open up. Let me say this right here. In all respect, you open up a big can right there. That last couple statements. I know Sunday gonna be interesting right there when you say we gotta thank the people for giving us the vowel points, and man, you open up a door right there. So, but I'm glad you said it. Because this is the type of dialogue we need to have. So I know that makes Sunday gonna be even more fire. Because you spoke it, not QANATH. So, but I'm glad that you said that again. Now we closing out for sure. Brothers, we get you found the word, and we're going to close out. What we got next?
Well, yeah, I just want to say, I just want to say something. One love to all my brothers. Be encouraged. Stay prayerful, and stay strong. That's it.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. QANATH.
Can I'm here. Listen up. I on my Facebook page, I have a Hebrew challenge to anybody that wants to talk about Lashuan Kodash versus Yiddish versus modern Hebrew versus Paleo Hebrew. It's an open challenge to anybody. I'm willing to sit down with you and talk about it. I teach a Hebrew language learning class in Houston. I offer it free. Well, I should say I offered it free for a whole year. And now I'm offering it again this year round. And all I'm asking you to do is provide for your own materials. And I will teach you how to read and write in Hebrew.
When are you gonna have your classes?
My classes right now are in Houston. I'm working on making them digital, like audio recording, video recording myself. But I offer them in Houston, Texas, and I am a traveling professor. I will come to you, and I will guarantee language acquisition.
But let me know when you do the online, so I can join a class, because I do want to learn more of the classical, biblical, because I study more the Lasha Wankwadash. But to be very, I still want to know both, you know.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to stop learning or studying Lasha Wankwadash. I just can't not do that. I'm sorry. But I do want to learn the classical.
Hey, absolutely.
With that being said, I may have you fly to New York City one day.
Let's do it. I make my own worksheets.
Hey, let me real quick.
Do it.
You don't have to. You can go to his Facebook, but anybody want to have that conversation like we're gonna have Sunday? Hey, bring it over here. Bring it over here on F.O.P.E. You can have that dialect right here on live. You know, it don't have to be on this bunch of keyboard typing, because if you're gonna have that type of conversation, the masses need to hear it. You understand? So we can all hear the pros and cons. You know, and I'm sure Elder, you want to give some information on classes that you also give? You can.
No, I'm really good. I'm just glad to know that so many people are pushing literacy and facilitating literacy. So yeah, that's all I do. I'm just glad to, and I'm ecstatic actually, and I'm deeply appreciative for the opportunity to be invited to your platform, to get a chance to meet you other brothers that are teaching Semitic languages. So yeah, I'm all inspired. So
Thank you. Hallelujah. Thank you. You're always welcome. Huda, and then Liar.
Yeah, I was a lesson. I say excellent lesson. I appreciate you, brother, and yeah, I look forward to seeing more lessons in the future.
Shalom Mishbucha Van Yashrala. I'm gonna stick with Sharshan, we the 80 babies, and also therefore whatever we the 80 babies. So you know, all of the teachers, we get the information to Sharsham, and then I'm gonna hook up with Sharsham, and we gonna get it all. You know, this is something that we need to do. We go to these corner stores, they speak their language, and we need to start speaking ours. Point, period, and blank. So, you know, I appreciate the dialect. I still had well, you know me, I had questions for days. So, you know, let's keep it banging. And all the Yohanan, I just saw a video that Shah Benoit did earlier today. That was a pretty good video you did earlier today. I saw it.
Yeah.
Barakatah Yahweh. And so, you know, all of them just send you information to Sharsham, and you know, me and Sharsham, we'll take it from there on, and let's you know, let's get it going. And because I do want to get it in as accurate as possible, because you know, when I pray, I do pray in the Hebrew language. So you know, and that's how that goes. So everybody, you know, just get it from Moshe Sharsham, and then, you know, I'll just get it from him, and then we just go take it from next. Right now, they got me blocked on my original page on Facebook. They always blocking me because I'm always speaking the truth. So, so, you know, we just do it from there, and we do need to have more dialects to this, and, you know, return to our, you know, it's all about returning to our culture. Yeah.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. And Youngkin, you supposed to bend. I gotta say it publicly, because you know we done talked about it private public, so I'm gonna say it public now. I gotta shame you. You said you're gonna do some classes live on F.O.P.E, right? You're supposed to be an F.O.P.E Hebrew teacher, and you got move your ass and come on this station and start teaching that Hebrew, brother. All right.
Good, man.
Okay. And let me say this to Yakanan, because you know we spoke about this a long time ago. about how you were saying you want to see the Lashawan Kodash language develop more. Because I'm gonna tell you now, Lashawan Kodash ain't going nowhere. I'm being honest with you, brothers. It's not going to stop using it. So I am in agreement with you because I'm being honest. I like the Lashawan Kodash better, but I will learn and willing to learn more about classical Hebrew. But what I say is that you were speaking about how we should develop it as a language where we can speak it more. I agree with you on that 100%.
Yeah.
So I think maybe that's something we should do because
Hey,
language, I want you to have a language.
Language is a living thing. It's not stagnant.
Oh, my bad. So all I was saying is what you want to do is have something that's viable, something that's coherent, right? So Lashawan Kodesh just simply means semantically, without the implications of the vowels, it just means set apart tongue. So that's fine. So if I were just to say to you, brother, like I could call my wife in here right now and be like, yo, and use the verb to penetrate, right? But if I don't have the necessary vowel diversity to convey my intention, she's gonna be looking at me sideways, right? She's gonna be like, "What, you want me to do what to you?" Right? So, so what I'm saying is the implication of saying that your language will be restricted to a single A-class vowel, and that is going to be the hallmark of your language. That will prove to be problematic, and it will never be able to evolve. Right? I mean, it just won't be able to happen. So you need to be able to differentiate and be able to tell your wife, hey, I want to twist you up versus you asking your wife to twist you up. So that's why I'm saying vowel diversity is important. And I understand that everybody wants to be able to have something that belongs to them, but you need your language, you desire your language to be intelligible.
Right.
Wait, Kunal, before I go, Kunal, I'm about to go. I'm at work. I have a question for all the brothers on the panel, though. Because the brother on the comment board said everybody speak the same language. I have a question. Do the Indians in the Amazon that run around naked, do they speak Hebrew?
No. Not
okay,
at all.
I just want to know because J.K. said it, everybody speak the same language. I just want to know.
No.
Hey, Kunal, we talk tomorrow. Grace and peace.
What I was going to say was, once we learn Hebrew, once we learn the basics of the Hebrew language, we will start to mold and evolve the language into what it is for us. We don't have to speak the same dialect or the same edicts or the same structures as our fathers, as long as we learn Hebrew. Look at all the, like you say, look at all the words that we've acquired in the English language. And we've taken the English language and we've created our own sub-dialect of English that they call Ebonics. And then we also have Gullah, we have Patois. We have a lot of different languages that we have derived from the English language that confounds European scholarship. And we will do the same thing with Hebrew. We will learn Hebrew, and within a generation, within less than a generation, we would have taken Hebrew to a whole nother degree, and them Jewish Zionist scholars, they wouldn't understand what the hell we were saying.
Let me say this too, because you said something that's profound, because it's we can learn different dialects of the Hebrew and so on and so forth, but because we're so spread far away, it's going to sound different anyway. And I'm going to give you an example, and I want everybody to listen up very carefully. Shasham, take your phone off of mute, and I'm going to say a word, right? I live in Washington, D.C. Okay, you can't do it. I live in Washington, D.C., and Shasham live in Baltimore, right? Oh, on the phone. Shasham live in Baltimore. We say dog, right? But in Baltimore, they don't. That's why I started laughing, right? Because they don't say dog the same way. And somebody else may say it different in whatever state. See, that's why I laugh. Whatever state you come from, we say dog, but when they say it, they say doog, right? Right. So, you know what I'm saying? It's different. And then, like you say, different phrases. some places you might say, I'm going down the road, right? And then somebody might say street. Now, I know when I went down the country, right? I live in Washington, D.C., we say, I'm going down the road. When I went down the country, I thought they were speaking a whole nother language. Dude told me, man, I'm going down the road of peace. I said, what the hell is road of peace? I thought he was talking about he going. I was like, man, this dude going to set me up. I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. He said, what you going down? I said, I'm going down the road of peace, man. You coming? I'm like, road of peace? What the hell is the road of peace? You know, and I still have a hard time understanding that. You know, he said road of peace, right? When I was down there, they said I should say cookies funny. I was like, huh? So, I mean, how I say cookies, they say this, I said funny to them. But I say dog, Sham say dog. You understand? So we're gonna have a different, I guess, accent. We say words different, regardless of somebody said over there, right?
Yeah, like that.
Right.
Out here in Detroit, we say in Detroit here we say in Detroit here we'll say pop. But y'all wouldn't know I was talking about soda. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But here in Detroit we'll say pop. Like we say pop, y'all probably be thinking some firecrackers or something, but you know, we talking about a drink. You know.
Hey, I was living in Kenya for a year, talking to Hebrews in Kenya, and they don't say juice, they say juice. They pronounce the I in juice. So it's just how you live, you know.
Right. So I mean, but great. Hey, look, I keep on saying it. Great. Judah, I wish you'd have came on here, man. I wish you'd have came on here, brother. Judah Shooter. You know, if you want to, you can come on and speak for 5 minutes if you want, because I love this brother teach the Hebrew very well too. He teaches both dialects. So if you want to come on and say something, you can. So the link is in the room, Judah. I would like for you to come on if you like this just to speak real briefly, man, because this brother, he gives great classes too. Very well spoken in the Hebrew. Very well spoken. I tried to recruit this brother about 8-9 years ago to come teach F.O.P.E the Hebrew. He said, man, I thought you was just being faking and whatever. He finally met me and said, man, you real. So it is what it is, man. So if you want to come on, brother, you're welcome to come on. If not, we're going to end this. If you're coming on, yay or nay. If not, we're going to go ahead and end this program tonight. And again, thank you, bros, for coming on here, man. I really appreciate it and look forward to Sunday. Newcomers come on.
I'm bad. My bad. So, Professor,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Make sure you link with me now. Send something from my Facebook or something.
One love, Akims.
Oh, okay. He on here now. Hold on, my brother on here. Add him to the
Shalom, everybody. All praise.
All praise. Okay, he on here now. Hold on, my brother on here.
Shalom, everybody. All praise. Can y'all hear me?
Everybody, it might be you.
Can y'all hear me?
Somebody got an extra device on.
It looked like I'm delaying. Can y'all hear me?
Okay, yeah, that's Judah. Judah, do you have hold on? Do you have an extra device plan? Because
he might be on YouTube as well. He might log on YouTube.
Did you on YouTube or something? Because you have when I muted your mic because you got an extra device to plan and we hand it. Hold on. Say something.
How about now?
No, you good. You good now.
I'm good.
Yeah, you good now.
Hey, shalom, everybody. Shalom. All praise to the Most High. Name is only begotten beloved Son. Yeah, y'all can hear me well, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to say this was a really good dialogue, man. I enjoyed listening to the brothers speak. I definitely feel that definitely need to we all definitely need to be in contact. Brother Shaly, man, yeah, you seem like a really, really good, humble brother, man. I enjoyed listening to you speak, brother. I enjoyed the brother Yochanan and Hey, y'all made a lot of great valid points. Even with well, I first want to say that I definitely commend the brother Yochanan, because he even said that he'll even travel so that people can get this as long as they got the material. So I thought that was amazing, because you just not really seeing that type of brotherly love in Israel. You know what I'm saying? So of course, you know, as a nation, you know, we might not all agree on everything, but to see somebody showing that type of brotherly love, man, I have to acknowledge that and I have to commend that. So I definitely want to say I appreciate you, brother, for wanting to do that for our people. I've been learning the Hebrew since about 2014, and even myself, I'm still learning every day. I'm still looking to grow. I'm still looking to learn. So, you know what I'm saying? I have no issue with getting with brothers, and we can, you know what I'm saying, sit in dialogue, and we can learn and we can build with each other. So I think it was just amazing. You know what I'm saying? Definitely shout out to F.O.P.E. You know, I didn't want to say much, but I just wanted to let you know that I was listening. I enjoyed the different dialogues, hearing different perspectives. I thought it was good. So that's basically what I want to say. I definitely hope, you know what I'm saying, we can definitely be getting in touch, and you know, we can be building with one another. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely like what I heard on both sides. You know.
Let me ask you one quick question. So which one you prefer, and what actually do you teach?
So I deal with both, but I mainly like to deal with the modern Hebrew, simply for the fact that from the Bible, you know what I'm saying, we have the modern Hebrew. Now, if I'm dealing with something like archaeology or something like that, then yeah, I would say the ancient Hebrew, you know. But me personally, I like the modern Hebrew.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. I'm glad you came on, because I was telling them a story when I first met you. I said, brother, I need you to come to F.O.P.E, be a Hebrew teacher. I think like in 2014.
Yeah, that was a minute ago. Yeah, I definitely remember. You know, you remember I was skeptical about it at first. Like, I don't know. Yeah. You know, I'm usually like that with new people, man. I'm a man. You got to peel me one onion layer at a time, man. So
what we actually need to do is we need to create like a multilingual literacy center for people, where we can take Judah the Shooter and the Moray up here, and everybody, all of us could be contributors to like an online literacy center where other Hebrews can go, and sponsored by F.O.P.E and all of our organizations. And we just make it the go-to place for learning Lashon Kodash, learning modern Hebrew, learning the alphabet, just putting all that information on one source, you know?
Yeah, I think that'll be good too, because I even got a 2-year-old son, and anybody who follows me, they know that, you know, I'm teaching him, he's learning, but I also would like for him to, because you made a good point, Yochanan, where basically when you was I don't want to put words in your mouth, but basically in a nutshell, you were just saying, if we continue to do this and we continue to grow, then in a sense we'll be, in a sense, creating our own dialect amongst each other.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So I would want my son to learn that as well. You get what I'm saying? You know, because our younger generation is growing up. I'm seeing you elders with your gray hairs. You know, I'm just getting mine just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So I would want my son to, you know, I would want my son to learn, to learn. You know what I'm saying, as well. So I think that's a blessing, and yeah, gave it to me from a good perspective to even look at, because I'm from St. Louis, and like I was saying in the comments, we'll say over there instead of over here. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody may say, hey, go sit in that chair instead of sitting in the chair. You know what I'm saying? So even in the English language, we have a different dialect. You know what I'm saying? A different accent. So what makes us would think that it would be any different us in Hebrew? You know what I'm saying? So it definitely makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like Shaal was reading Sefer Shemot, Exodus chapter 20 earlier. You know, let me pull it real quick. So somebody in St. Louis may read it slightly different from our brother or someone else in a different city. Let me go ahead and pull it real quick. I know my pages all stuck together. Bear with me, brothers.
Oh, don't tell me your page is stuck together.
Man, pages are stuck together. Man, look, my wife, one of my wives got a dog, and what happened? Look what he did. He bit the damn Bible. So now I got my pages all stuck together. So
Hey, your dog did that?
One of my wives, her
Your
dog did that.
Oh, the dog was trying to get his daily bread.
Right. So here we got Sefer Shemot 20. We have Vaydaber Elohim et kol havarim ha'ele lemor anu ki Yahweh Eloheka asher chozeti kame eretz Mitzrayim be'avadim lo yelecha Elohim al harim al panaya lo ta'aseh lecha fesel v'kar tamuna asher b'shamayim mima'al va'asher ba'aretz mitakat va'asher b'mayim mitakat la'aretz lo tish tave lachem v'lo tavdun ki anu ki Yahweh Eloheka El Khana Poked Ayon Avod Al Banim Al Sheleshim Al Rebeim Lesonai the Osekese La Alafim La Ho'avai. You know what I'm saying? So somebody may read that different.
Right.
You know, so somebody may read it different, and I'm okay with that, you know, because I know what somebody's saying, or if I don't, I'm like, hey man, hey, what that word you say? What that say? Or you know what I'm saying? Break that down for me, brother, you know, because even in English, somebody may say something in English who in a different city state, I'll be like, man, what you just say? You know, like some cities, they'll say, instead of saying car keys, they say car keys. Like car keys. You know, I'm like, what did you just say? Your khakis? You know, so I ain't afraid if I say, if I don't know, I just don't know. And what you say, man, let me know.
Right.
You know.
Hallelujah.
Mm-hmm.
Hallelujah. So yeah, it was something I don't want to go into, but it was something.
Yeah.
You know, I was on the phone, Judah, and I said, man, you gotta say that in the Hebrew. You can remember what it was. Cause you say a lot of people don't know this is something. You said in the Hebrew. I can't think what it was. I know it's gonna come to me.
Oh man.
Off this show.
Yeah.
It was something you was gonna read in the Hebrew, and it was gonna shock a lot of people. You know, when I was talking about something, it had to do with another subject, and you was reading in the Hebrew, and I was like, oh snap! So I never heard it that way before. You know, so
I don't know. How long ago was it?
It was dealing with. I don't know. I don't want to start just throwing up scriptures, but I can't think exactly what it was.
Okay. And then also another reason why I was saying, because like when it comes to the Hebrew, I can read it way better than I could speak it. You know, it's because for one, I don't do it often. And you know, it's kind of like one of them things, if you don't use it, you lose it. You know what I'm saying? So that's definitely another reason why I would be like, man, yeah, I would definitely like to get with those brothers. And get in the habit of doing that, you know, because that's something I don't do often. You know, for example, like in my house, I'm the only one that really is into the language like that, you know what I'm saying, besides my 2-year-old son. And then for the most part, I'm a bit of a loner. So, you know, I kind of be off to myself, do my own thing. And I know at that point, that can be a disadvantage because there's nobody to openly communicate with. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's another reason I like me. I definitely got to get with those elders, you know what I'm saying? And snap some knowledge off them too, you know.
Hey, Yehuda,
so yeah.
Somebody just put it in my brother Yehuda, F.O.P., just put in the comment board. He said it had something to deal with the virgin birth.
Okay, what about it?
I don't know. It was something you showed me in the Hebrew. It had something to deal with the virgin birth. Remember? And you were saying
in Matthew.
Was Joseph
in the Hebrew New Testament?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And let me take the camera off. I know what you're talking about now. Hold on.
Let's go. Let's get that real quick. And you're gonna call it a night.
In Luke 1:27. Let me pull it real quick. In Luke 1, and this is for those who have the Hebrew New Testament. And just real quick, if most don't know, reading from the camera. So it has both.
I got that book.
Yeah, and both into one. And in Luke 1:27, I know that's what you're talking about. Let me pull it right quick. Hold on. Bear with me. My page is stuck together. How the damn and I'm over here struggling.
All right.
Okay, so
I know we had that dialogue, man. You and the other brother who we was talking about that, and you pulled that.
Yeah.
So before I read, man, you got to do that.
Yeah, so before I read it, I'm gonna put it on the screen real quick. Hold on, real quick. Let me make sure. Here we go.
Make the screen big, Shan.
I'm gonna put it on the screen first.
He's gonna blow it. Let him blow the screen up first.
Oh, snap. Okay, hold
Give
on.
a second.
Hold on. Let me get. Hold
There
on.
we go.
Okay.
Get the pointer.
Yeah.
I got my pointer. Get the pointer.
Here we go. Okay, so let me put it on there real quick, brothers. Bear with me. Okay, here we go. Here, it's really hard doing this from backwards. But here, right, wait, 1 second. Right, hold on. Okay, coming down over here. So that right there is what I'm about to read there. All right. So that's what I'm about to read. So in Luke, hold on, can y'all still hear me?
Yeah, you good, Ak. You
okay,
good?
Yeah. Okay. I'm like, I only see me.
You on big screen, that's why.
Okay. Yeah, I'm like, hold on, I just can't. All right, so we have the word El, which means two. The word Betula, which I'm gonna deal with in a second. So with El Betula, Me Rosa Laish Asher Shemo Yosef. So El Betula, we know Betula means what, brothers? Can y'all see me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we listen.
Like a house or
go ahead.
The word Bethula, this is talking about a woman who was never engaged in any sex
like
at all.
like virgin or
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So in Luke 1:27, it says El Bethula, and then it has the word Me'oras, meaning who was engaged, engaged to a man, and then Asher, whose Shemo, his name, Yosef, Joseph, then Mibate, from the house, David of David, Veshem Habatula, and the virgin's name, Miriam, was Mary. So in Luke 1:27, it renders that word there as Bethula, meaning a woman who was never engaged in sexual relation. Of course, you have a lot of the different doctrine that goes on of many people who don't believe that
right.
Yeah, dealing with the birth of birth. And
they'll say something like
Let him finish.
They'll say like
Let him finish.
Yeah, so when you see that in Matthew 1, in Luke 1:27, it does use the word Bethula. And then what's interesting is that even when you go into in Matthew, in the Hebrew Testament in Matthew, up top, we have the word Hapsora. Oh, hold on, baby. One of my wires sitting right there. So we have it's all good, love. Hapsora Hakadosha Alpi Matai. So the good news according to the mouth of Matthew. In verse 25, there it has the word valo, and we know the word valo is in the negative, meaning in not or neither, depending on how you put it in sentence. So it says valo yada'ad ki yalva bet et bekora vayikra et shemo Yeshua. So it says the word velo, which is the first word there, which means and not or neither. But then we have the word yada'ah, which means and did not know or did not have sex. Then we have the word ad, until ki yalda, until that she gave birth, ben, to a son, et bekora, which is the eldest, vayikra, and she called et shemo, his name, Yeshua, or Jesus rather. So in the Hebrew New Testament, I don't know if brothers have taken a look at it, if they haven't taken a look at it, but when looking in the Hebrew New Testament, it's definitely very clear that Mary and Joseph did not engage in sexual relations. But the main verse that I was talking about was definitely that Luke 1:27. So that was the best way I want to say.
I looked at it when you told me about it. I looked at it in the Lasha Wan Kodash New Testament I got, and the other two New Testament Hebrew New Testaments I had.
Yeah.
So I looked at it for myself as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt.
Right, because like what they do is they will be like a virgin, mean young lady, and we not denying that, because if you're a young boy that never had it, that has sex, then that you'll be a virgin as well. So when we read the story, this is dealing with literal intercourse in specificness, and that's the part that they just blatantly, willingly, just like don't want to look past. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because the term virgin, that could be referring to a young lady or a young guy. You see what I'm saying?
And, matter of fact, hold on. I'll be right back. I'm gonna get my new Hebrew New Testament transliteral Aramaic transliteration and read it out of there. Hold on one second.
Okay.
But is it the original book of Matthew was in it?
Talking about that Hebrew. Woo!
Oh yeah. I heard some of what you said. What you said? Can I say it again? I heard some of what you said.
I knew it, but you guys, once we started talking about that Hebrew, well, y'all go non-stop.
Yeah.
Right? Because we need to talk about this, have this type of conversation, man, because for so long we've been going back and forth. This is why on this platform, a lot of people, not a lot, because now a lot of people thought they was going to go against what we do, but a lot of people starting to follow what we do because we want to have these type of conversations. Yeah. You know, we want to have these type of conversations. So it could be on certain doctrine, and this is a good one with the language. I think this is this is good, man. This is one of the best we had in a long time because, like you said, even though we may speak it the same, right? We can all speak the same, right? But it depends where you're from. You may say something that's a little bit different, you know. So, conversations we need to have. I just tell you, Sunday going to be real good because my brother, Professor Lee Cummings, he's good at what he does, and he's going to give his perspective.
And he's actually my favorite author.
Yeah, he's bomb, man.
Hey, shout out to that brother Lee Cummings. He's actually one of my favorite authors. I've made a few documentaries, and I've mentioned some of his work in my documentary. So I definitely want to give a special shout out to that brother and the work that he's been doing. But I got all the volumes of the Negro Question. I've put them in lots of my videos as well. So shout out to him. I'd definitely like to meet that brother one day.
Okay, set it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you say you read something out there, Shashan?
No, I'm reading out of this one right here.
Oh, okay. What's that?
The Aramaic New Covenant.
Aramaic. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got the Aramaic too.
And what verse was that?
Aramaic what?
The Aramaic Peshitta with Hebrew translations.
Oh, okay.
And what you was asking about, Shawsham?
What verse was that? So I can read it out of here.
The first one that I read.
That was Luke, right?
Yeah, Luke 1:27.
Okay, hold on.
Man, I'm over here turning this candy up.
Yeah,
my tongue all colorful.
We're not gonna be much longer, brothers and sisters. Just a little bit, and then we're gonna roll out. I know I've been saying it, but anybody that has to get off, you can go ahead and get off. You know, we probably gonna chop this video up anyway.
But I know they got the book of Matthew in original.
It says, to a virgin espoused to a man named Joseph in the house of David, and the name of the virgin Miriam. That's what it says in a transliteral translation. I don't know if you can see it, but that's what it says.
Yeah.
But see, I use this for the New Testament because I don't really read the King James and the New and the Greek because I don't like the Greek translation. So I like to read it out of the Aramaic Hebrew instead of the what's the name now? I like this much better.
Yeah, no doubt. And I got a brother, Mikael. He has a Hebrew New Testament. I forgot which version he has, but his Miriam was called Alma and Bethula. I was like, oh, look at that.
So let me ask you this, Judah. Can you speak some of the Lashawan Kodash, like have a small conversation in that language?
Remember, I was saying earlier, I read it way better than I can speak it. And I was saying one of the downsides of it is because a bit of a loner in it. You know, I've learned all this on my own. And I've been basically just by myself with doing this. You know what I'm saying? So it's like one of them things, you don't use it, you lose it.
Right. And see, that's kind of my situation. I've been learning a lot on my own as well. I learned from the elder of the house of David, Krakazala, the Lashawan Kodash. And after I stopped learning Lashawan Kodash, after I learned all the classes from them, I started branching out on my own and just learning, trying to learn a classical Hebrew. And I got a lot of self-taught books. I got a lot of Hebrew audio tapes. I had the what is it called? It was like $300 and something. Hebrew, it's for the computer. It comes in a box. You know what it's talking about, QANATH? Everybody was trying to get it from me. It's Hebrew though.
Yeah.
It was like $300 and something. I got so much Hebrew learning stuff, but
real quick,
go ahead.
You want to know one thing that kind of helped me a lot on my way on my journey? It was this book here. It's called Hebrew Word Picture. Somebody can screenshot that. This actually helped me a lot as vocabulary words.
I don't have that.
Yeah, this is a really, really good. So I don't remember how much I paid for it. It was probably around $50 maybe. But it does come with a CD. But I never looked at it or listened to it. I just went straight into the book. It has the modern and the ancient together in it. I kind of give an example real quick on page 10.
I gotta check that out, Yakana.
Yeah, on page 10.
1,000 words in Hebrew.
I got that book too. It's I think that book is like a little. I got because I got so many books, but I have that one too. But this one here, yeah, that's the book right there. I got it. Is yours the hardcover? Is it pink? Okay, mine's it's like a pink. Yeah,
I'll check that out too.
Yeah, multi-dictionary. So you see here, it has the modern and the ancient. I don't know if y'all ever see that. You see the modern and the ancient.
Done. Right.
So here, let me kind of show you another example real quick. So like right here, notice for the word chen, but you see the ancient there as well.
Right. Done.
So yeah, so it deals with both, and in the beginning of my walk, that was something that helped me. The brother earlier was talking about like the languages. You get to see,
I think I did.
The ages of the languages and all of that. See that? So I'm not able to put the whole.
Yeah, I see it.
So it's really good, and no matter, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, no matter where you are in your Hebrew, whether you're a beginner, whether you're intermediate, whether you're advanced, you're gonna find something that's gonna be helpful for your studies. You know what I'm saying? It's good to collect, good to have, and things like that. I know the brother Yakana just unmuted his mic, so brother, I'll let you go ahead and share something with us.
Yeah, well, I was just going to show you that this book here, First 1,000 Words in Hebrew, this book is written from the standpoint of an English speaker trying to learn Hebrew. And this book here is the first 1,000 words in Hebrew from the standpoint of a Hebrew speaker trying to learn English.
Here we go. I knew I had it.
So you have to, I attack it from both directions. So these translations in here will be more like words, and they are like the Hebrew speaker is trying to learn how to speak the English. And so it's phonetically written from the Hebrew standpoint, whereas the other book is written phonetically from the English standpoint. So I have both.
Absolutely. Now there's another one too I want to share. I haven't opened it yet. As you see, it's still in the wrapper. I'm going to put it to some use, but a lot of people has been speaking.
I got that.
Yeah.
I think the first, the second, and the third edition of that book.
Yeah, so I haven't looked into it, but I've heard really good things about it. I'm gonna open it. Look, you see,
you know how many copies I gave away of that book? I gave so many people that book. I should have that.
You see, it's still in the wrapper.
I got that too.
And then here's another one. Let me share another one with you all. 1 second. I also been getting into Arabic too, so that's something I'll be dealing with later.
Yeah.
That one of my wives.
So let me tell you about this book really quickly. This Berlitz Self-Teacher Hebrew. If you ever fly into Israel, you come into Ben Gurion Airport. Ben Gurion was one of the first, or maybe the first president or prime minister of Israel. And let me tell you what happened. When they started bringing all those Israeli Jews from Russia and the Czech Republic and Poland and Germany into Israel, none of them could communicate with each other because they all spoke a different language. And so Ben Gurion was the first person to actually take the language and uniform it, make it universal so that everybody could learn the language. And it took them about 40 years to be able to communicate with each other because they had to standardize the language. And so if you look in the book,
I got that
character right there, that's Ben Gurion, and he's kind of teaching you how to speak the Hebrew language uniformly. And when you know the history of this book and how the state of Israel learned Hebrew, it 100% without a doubt crushes the entire notion that modern Hebrew is Yiddish. You gotta do your history to understand.
That's right.
I had that book. That book is that was one of my main books I was using to learn Hebrew.
Wow, for real?
You see this book right here? Y'all see this little tiny book here, Shashan, when I was supposed to go to Israel. And this little tiny book right here, man, it has all little phrases, like you want to say sentences and stuff, right? You see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it has all.
I see it has a phonetic spelling too.
Right. Man, we definitely have to have a literacy center.
I have a lot of Hebrew myself.
Hey, do you brothers know about this? I haven't got into it yet. It's crazy. I got this a long time ago. I got this probably when I was first learning, and I never even opened it yet. But I plan to dive into this too. So I don't know if y'all know anything about that.
I've never seen that before. No.
It has for modern beginners. Modern beginners, intermediate, and advanced Hebrew. So that's something I'm gonna check out in the future too. Those are a few things that I'll look in the future. I just kind of was just diving in on my own to see how far I can get on my own. But there's another one here, Hebrews for Dummies. I haven't gotten into this one either, honestly.
Seen this before? Yehuda, look at that. You can change the
snap. I need that for my son.
You can change the things, and they have one for every letter. Every letter has one.
Promise the Segel.
Yeah, and you can just change it to no letter, or you can just keep turning, and it goes to all the different.
Okay.
Look at that, and this is one of the things.
In the comments.
You're right. I require all my students to buy this set. You can get it on Amazon for like $15.
Yeah, you gotta remember. I see the kibbutz, the goo.
It's got all of it.
Gee, the hirik.
Yeah. So,
okay.
Man, you gotta have your resources. I'll share with QANATH, so everybody can get it off of YouTube. I mean, off of Amazon if you want it.
Hold it right there. I'm finna screenshot that Hebrew. Hold on 1 second.
That Berlitz self-teacher is the business too.
Let me screenshot that. Y'all keep that up on the screen real quick. Hold on.
That Berlitz self-teacher is probably $45 on Amazon right now.
Got it. I got it. Yeah.
This right here, the Rosetta Stone of the Hebrew. This is brand new. This was like $300-something.
Okay.
So you got, hold on. It's a bunch of this in here.
Elder QANATH, hey, this is good that that you had this platform so that brothers can come on and speak on this stuff.
Right.
Hey, I'm telling you, the next step is a multilingual literacy center, man. We got to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I got so much Hebrew stuff. It's ridiculous. I got so much Hebrew stuff, but this book right here I found to be probably one of the best. I love this book. It's my favorite book.
Yeah, that's a really good book right there. I vouch for that book.
I gave about 3 or 4 of these away.
Well, give it away to me.
Because I had so many books. QANATH, I tell you, we gave so many books away, Hebrew books, all types of literature books, man. We gave so much stuff away, it's ridiculous because we had so many copies and we didn't need it all. You know what I mean?
Let me show y'all something here. Let me show y'all something here. When we class, when we first started out, folders we used to give everybody. We used to give everybody a folder like this, right? And you open it up, it had this right here, right? It had that. And then we'll start going in. Hold on, I'm going to show you now. Give me some turn. I'm trying to show y'all something. We will start going in. Now this is dealing with the Lashawan Kadash, right? We start giving you the basics, right? We start giving you
right?
That just gives you the basics. We start They go in like here.
Mm-hmm. Okay, then I see up top it got the finagle way how to say it.
Right.
Yeah, that's it. That's what it said at the very top. I show one Kodash. Okay. Yeah. I got that. How was
and I got, man, Shaly gave me so many Hebrew books there in my closet right now because I was like, you know what? I told him I was going to learn the Greek, and I started try to start learning the Greek. I said, you know what? Nah, the sponge is gone. It's a big rock up there now. So
I don't know if y'all saw these videos. I can even send some of these videos to y'all. It's these two guys that's in prison, and they were praying in pure Lashua Kandash Hebrew.
Yeah.
And they was doing it extremely, you know what I'm talking about, Judah the Shooter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For anybody who may want to check it out, I can send it to them. But yeah, they were these two guys in prison. They were praying in ancient Hebrew.
Yeah, that was
in
like,
a very
Yahawashi Ha Mashayach
Yahawashi Ha Mashayach Yahawa Yahawashi Ha Mashayach Alayhi Aver. And then they go hallelujah, 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 hallelujah with their hands in the air. It is very fluent and very powerful too. I listen to it almost every night, you know.
Oh,
all right, Shan.
Go ahead. One more thing. On YouTube and on SoundCloud, I got a Hebrew I got a Hebrew meditation song. So if anybody interested in that, it's me reading Hebrew, chapter 20 in Hebrew. It's in the modern Hebrew, and I'm doing the English translation. So that's something that I also do have.
Yeah, you can send it to me. Put it in my DM.
Oh yeah, let me do it. Huh?
Play the song now.
I don't know if you'll be able to hear it because it's on my laptop.
Okay. Now I'm gonna say put your speaker up to it. Then we play our music. Just put the speaker up so everybody can hear it.
Yeah. I'm gonna put it in the chat. I put in the comments in the chat right now. Hold on. I just put it. It's on the SoundCloud.
Hey, Shaly, what you can do is send it to me on my Facebook Messenger, and I'll play it.
Okay, I'm on your Facebook right now. Hold on.
Send it to me on Facebook Messenger, and I'll play it.
Let me see.
Hey, QANATH, can you send it to my DM when you get it, QANATH?
Sure. Yeah, sure can.
Okay, now you wrote me on Facebook. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I was telling you tune in.
Look at that. I tune in anyway.
Yep. Okay, I'm gonna play it now. All right, everybody, listen up. Here we go.
We done that?
It's on now. Wait a minute. No, I'm playing Judah Yeshua song.
Oh, okay.
Before we do, I need you to follow my simple instruction. We're going to start with breathing techniques. Close your eyes and breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. by the Bir Elohim et Kol Havarim Alilim. God spake all these words, saying, Anochi Yahweh Eloheka, Asher Chozitika Be'eretz, Misraim Be'avadi. I, the Lord, am your God, who have brought you out of the land of Egypt, the house of bondage. Lo, Yelecha Elohim Acharim Al. You shall have no other gods before me.
All right.
Lo ta'aselecha sefercha tzimuna asher b'shamayim mima'al ba'asher ba'aretz. Misachat ba'asher b'mayim misachal ha'aretz.
Hallelujah. So yeah, that's in the I'm gonna definitely play that, brother. It's like 30 minutes. I like that. That's a nice idea.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play a lot of that on the program for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, some people say, because I know some people here in St. Louis, they say when I played it in the store, nobody come in tripping or nothing.
You can send that to me, all right, so I can finish checking that out. So inbox me that.
I got you.
Yeah,
inbox me real quick, and I'm finna send it to you. F.O.P.E ain't got to find.
All right.
But so we ready to close out. I also want to support my brother Malak. We played his song earlier when we first came on. I'm going to play another one of his songs. It's way different from this, but you know, it is what it is. Fine, I just had it. Second. Somebody can say something before we go.
Did the scholar want to say something? Elder Ms. L, did you want to say anything, Ak, before we close out, or Yakanan?
Well, I just want to say it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure hearing you all. He wanted to say, go ahead, brother. Go ahead. I think he was saying something too.
So I was just saying, I already have my final words. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, well, you got the last word. We're gonna close out.
Yeah. Once again, I really enjoyed everybody. Everybody's spirit. It was a really good dialogue. Hopefully, this can be one of many. And you know, hopefully in the future, because I know one of the brothers, he says he's down in Houston. He likes to travel. Who knows? One day maybe me and that brother can link, and he can share what he know. I can share what I know, and you know we can build. Because I'm definitely looking to grow in the language. You never stop growing, especially in a language like this. There's always something to learn. There's always something you missed. So I'm definitely looking to grow in and to be a sponge. Once again, it was a pleasure with talking with everybody. I love everybody's spirit, and I wish everybody well. And may the Most High grant you peace.
Most High bless. Most High bless.
Yeah.
So with that, we're gonna close out, man.
Hallelujah.
We're gonna close out. I'm gonna play the song from my brother. His name is Malak out of Washington D.C. Right. The name of this song is called "The Spirit of Nat Turner." Right.
Okay.
The Spirit of Nat Turner. My brother Malak out of Washington D.C. All right. Most High bless you all.
Most High bless you all. Tomorrow.
Shalom. Shalom.
Spirit instantly appeared, and the serpent was loosened, and Christ laid down the yoke. And that I should take on and fight against the spirit, for the time was fast approaching. First should be last, and the last
August 1831, Southampton County, Virginia. The fears of the slave-holding South were realized. Rebellion. Over 70 slaves armed with knives, hatchets, and bludgeoning objects swept the pastoral countryside, killing all in their path. Their leader was a slave named Nat Turner.
You out your cotton picking mind, you think it's cotton picking time. Ain't no need for picking signs. Your mind blind to divine. I'm like man on the track, Turner with the burner. All my wives gon' ride like Harriet for the truth share. We some sojourners like gold pride in the fire. We survived in the furnace. We repent with the earnest. Leave our teaching, they learning. These crackers hypocrites. I mean, Jesus is black and Ronald Reagan is a bitch. They put crack in the hood, just a drop in the hood. Please stop, pop the trunk. They got it locked in the hood. You saying good raps, I'm saying good riddance. My savior is black, cause my savior is risen. My savior is black, cause my savior is risen. My savior is black, cause my savior is risen. It's that revolution music. I hope that they use the music. You can listen to you do some black, 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 black. In your heart, you know I'm right. Yo, big man. If you want respect, you gotta earn it. You damn right. You gotta be ready to go down, stand up, and die for that shit like Blizzard did. If you want some juice.
I want you to stand up tall and proud. I want you to speak up clear and loud. Brown baby.
These nations is here debating our greatness. That secret meetings with Masons, you know they Satanists. Like Echo Cooper, they cross-dressing maneuver with propaganda that we can slander, crucify us on the news. No killer Mike, bitch, you can never run the Jews. My savior is black, my hand on my strap. I see a Masonic wizard, bullets throw the wizard back here. Truly, in fact, we the living black Jews. Imposters in our land, crackers, you confused. Think we a nuisance, Father, won't let them noose us. Up to them like Moses told Pharaoh, go ahead and loose us. Marina Abramovich. Keep on gas and spilled, you'll get thrown in the deep abyss. Christ healed the lames, we marching with black fists. Blind date for death, you about to get catfish. Cause the ones that's last about to be first. Black king, good kings won't rule the earth. And wickedness will get you hurt. Sing praise in the assembly, the righteous. The saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud on their days. Let the high praise of God fill the mouths of the saints and the two-edged sword in their hand to execute vengeance on the demonic nations and punishment on those people. To bind their king for king and their nobles for sinners of mine. To execute on them that's written judgment. This I have all his saints. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Oh, praise the Lord. Praise the Lord.
He comes back and all peace, you got another thing coming. So we're out here fighting for our brother. We ain't marching saying yes we can. No justice, no peace. Go! Fight for your sons and your daughters. I'm not wrapped too tight. Got 400 years on my back. I'm angry dog. I'm black like that. Won't contact with you whites. And all the niggas I stand here with, they share my same sentiment. I'm fucked up tonight. Won't kill my brothers no more. Want all the smoke, motherfucker, po-po. It's my battle cry. Oh! Isaiah 14:21, that ancient version of that gun that swore. They stole our name, they stole our shit. We real Judites, motherfucker, Jewish. Lord! Generals, arm your soldiers. We fight tonight like we supposed to. They inherited lies. I'm referring to all whites. I'm referring to riches, white privilege, given through genocide. And they gotta pay for that. God say, Jacob, don't take it back. I cry aloud, I spare not. This good bread, my sharecrop. This lily grew through concrete. We march the ox on drum beat. We the chosen. No inclination to kick it with y'all. Raise Babylon to the ground, then watch it fall. Obadiah said you'll be wiped out for theft. These are just words, worry about what come next. It's for Negroes, Latinos, we better than all, not equal. My natives no red, not that feather. Me primo be smooth like that leather. Until it's time to bring the war dogs out with their headdress on. War paint and I'm not rap too tight. Got 400 years on my back. I'm angry dog, I'm black like that. Won't contact with you whites. And all the niggas I stand here with, they share my same sentiment. I'm fucked up tonight. Won't kill my brothers no more. Want all the smoke, motherfucker, po-po. This is my battle cry. I got the spirit of grandfathers past. Front porch sitters, Nat Turner dangerous. A real life illustration of angry and that painting. Of Malcolm staring out the window with patience. One hand on the curtain, right hand on the AK spits. 47 rounds, all to bring down Satan. Same way Abel was killed by Cain. This will be an introduction from the fuck shit into the fire. Probably join the list of artists who died before they retired. Most High said I'm hired. Sire will never spit a line aimed at my kind. That's meant to uplift. Toughness will be redefined in my rhymes. A squad of men with the spirit of God, with an affinity to point their weapons not at the brethren but at the enemy. Khaki colored kids, baptized in the flames of combat fashioned. In the trap we escaped, our fate was to be great and noble. Moses reincarnated, so be hopeful and know I bring word from A and O to Pharaoh and white folk, let my people go, cause